Hey, Will.
Look, I'm in a mood today. I'm just going to start with that. I don't know what sort of mood, but I'm in a tiny mood. But that's all right.
Is it cranky?
We've moved the set around.
Yeah.
It's not about that, but like,
No, this thing's
it's not cranky. Sometimes when I get in these, like, it actually makes for better content. So strap yourself in, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm ready to be offended.
No,
Are you going to come at me? Let's go.
No, not offended. I mean, you've had to make sure your scooter is folded and under your desk at work.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, that's fine. You are riding.
Now let's talk about
around.
it. Let's talk about
You are riding an electric scooter around.
It's
How's it been?
elite. It is so good.
You can thank me
Still,
for that.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm still waiting for you to get involved.
What are you wearing while you ride it?
So I got my Lycra pants. No, I'm joking. No, I got my elbow pads and knee pad. I'm joking again. No, I literally wear shorts, a t-shirt, and a helmet.
Okay.
And backpack, stuff to take to work.
Headphones, like music?
No headphones.
Not safe.
It's a short trip, and yeah, I'd rather I want to hear a car approaching me if it is.
It's going to hit you. At least you know you're going to die.
Yeah, exactly. Prepare for it. Think about all of my the things
Memories.
I've done throughout my life.
Love.
Yep.
Sorry.
Look at this photograph. Sorry. What was I going to tell you? Oh, yes. So today I rock up at work.
Yes.
And I'm about to take the lift up. I'm not going to walk up the staircase with the scooter. It's too heavy. You can't. Yeah, it is heavy. That is the downfall of the scooter is really heavy. Yep. But that's okay. I can lift it up a couple of steps. I get a knock. There's like a knock on a window, and I look over, and like the guy who's in charge of property at work is like pointing, and I'm like, "What are you trying to say?" I can't hear him. And then he comes in. He's like, "Where are you taking that?" And I go, "On my desk. I'm going to work." He's like, "No. Doesn't go upstairs. It's got to stay in the car park."
Is he speaking to you like that, like a principal?
Yeah, I felt like I was getting told off a bit.
Oh God.
He's a lovely guy.
Okay.
But there's a rule where you can't take your scooter, and like where I sit, no, there's no one else. Like it's so bare. Like there's the colleague I work with. I have a little spot that I park it. There's no problems. But not allowed.
I think you should fold it up and put it under your desk like a briefcase.
No, because you know what? People everywhere will have bikes and scooters all throughout the office, apparently. So, anyways,
we don't want to start the second global pandemic. We've gone through COVID. How bad could it get? Now,
I still work there, so I got to, I'm there to keep the peace.
Welcome to BackChat. Yeah, there we go. There's a little preamble. BackChat __ across socials. You can reach us there. We had a big moment on social media. I do want to touch on this first up. TikTok. We're doing things over there. We don't mention it too much here, but it is a bit of fun we have over there. We put out, as our listeners will know, why every team will win the grand final this year, can win the 2022 grand final. And we'll do 3 more teams this week.
Great.
Geelong.
GWS.
Hawthorn. Okay, so we're getting into the G's and the H's in the alphabetical order, but we put Collingwood's up.
Yeah.
Collingwood FC replied and liked what we were doing.
Yeah, they said, I like your vibe.
I mean, why wouldn't you? They're going to, they're favourites to win the wooden spoon. Of course they love it when a West Coast Eagles Western podcast sports show talks them up.
Gives it to them.
It was a nice moment, though.
What I do like about those videos that have been putting up is that people jump in the comments and they think we're idiots. Yeah. And it's great because some people...
Bigger idiots.
Bigger idiots, yeah. Some people think we're saying these teams are going to win.
Most people do.
Yeah. What we're saying is, if this team's going to win, this is how. This is how every team can win it. And I like to get back in the comments.
Yeah, well, you started the trend of replying, and it's actually... It perked me up a bit because you can get into this bit of a death spiral on social media, whether it be TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
Yep.
Taking everything personally, but your vibe actually picked me right up. It's very, it's very like, conciliatory. It's very
it's
friendly.
A bit sarcastic.
It's highly sarcastic.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. And
yeah.
I've taken that vibe on. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So you can find us, BackChat _. That's right. Sammy's not here to hear that one, but he's disappointed we're still rolling with that. But bad luck, Sammy. Hello at backchatpodcast.com.au. That'll get you through to You Send It.
We read it.
Sorry, we sort of stuffed that up, but you know what it is. YouTube.
Oh,
we did it on You Send It.
Yeah, sorry.
YouTube. It's been fun. Over 600 subscribers now, so we appreciate everyone following us over there. If you want to jump over there and follow us, you can watch this. If you're just listening and you're thinking, what are you blokes talking about every week? Well, that's what we do. We've actually taped this. The studio looks beautiful, actually.
Yeah, looks really nice.
Really
the other thing about YouTube is that, so this week we put up a video, this thing called, we do BackChat Lates.
Yes.
Which if you listen exclusively just to the podcast, you won't hear that because we don't put it up there. BackChat Lates is sometimes things will happen. You and I get together just on our computers. We talk. It's low budget. It's low tech. But we get some content out there. So if you haven't heard those, just search BackChat Lates.
Join us on Patreon. Become a patron of the podcast. Support, yeah, you like it. Support the podcast. We appreciate everyone that's jumped on board. Getting close to 150 patrons.
Yes.
I actually didn't think we'd ever get close to that. When we started that, I thought, 10 or 20 people. Mum, sister, Auntie Helen, a few other family
I've got an
members.
Auntie Helen too.
Oh, hi, Auntie Helen. We thought they'd get around us. Charlie's mum, Charlie's dad, Charlie.
Yeah.
But hi, Charlie, by the way. So you are with us today.
How's it going?
Yeah, good,
I am
mate.
with you.
Good.
Unfortunately, Dad is not a Patreon. I'll have to correct that, but I'm working on it.
Okay, I know that Katya's dad is David. I believe I've got that right.
Big Davo.
Yep, he's a patron.
So, are you guys recovered from your cocktail off last week?
I'm still angry. I'm not happy about it.
Very good.
Just get better,
Bragging
mate.
rights are still going.
Okay, well, they'll be with us. So you can join us on Patreon. If you want to do that, you can jump on backchatpodcast.com.au. They'll take you there.
Speaking of Patreon, there's so many good reasons to be a patron. One, you support the pod. We're stoked.
Yes.
We love it. Two, fantasy. Getting involved in fantasy.
Two grand final tickets. You want 2 grand final tickets? You might want to be on Patreon.
Yeah, you can sign up for our fantasy league, play that, which we'll get into a little bit more.
Yes.
3,
Yes.
beers with BackChat, which, firstly, I'll say you don't need to be a patron to come to beers with BackChat.
Beers with BackChat has been a big part of inquiry. Over the last couple of weeks. What's going on? When are we doing it? Where are we doing it?
First.
Oh, wow, you're jumping into. I was going to build it up a little bit more, but you're going
Let's go.
to it. Okay.
Why pussyfoot around it? March 1st.
Tuesday night.
Yep.
You've had to book that one in.
Yeah, booked in, put it in the calendar. The best thing about that night will be our sweepstakes that we're doing.
Okay.
Can we talk about that now?
No. Beers with BackChat. We've had a little big build up. I think you've absolutely just glossed over the fact that we have a date. Beers with BackChat is happening. We have locked it in March 1st, Tuesday, venue TBC. We want to see if you're interested. If you want to come. It's not an RSVP. Well, it kind of is. If you say you're going to come and you don't come, it's all good.
Helps us know, do we need to book Perth Arena or do we book just 3? Do we bring 3 chairs into the garage?
All options at the moment are open. Perth Arena, I believe, is available Tuesday, March 1st.
Yeah.
So if you want to come, follow us on Instagram. We'll chuck a little poll on there, a little questionnaire if you want to come along to that. But that's happening then. Now tell me what's going to happen on the night, Dan.
I'm sorry, we just sort of stumbled upon this idea last week, or the week before.
Very good.
Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to place a bet on every team in the AFL to win the grand final.
This is on the back a little bit of why your team can win the AFL 2022 premiership.
Which I'm excited to hear about the next 3 teams, Hawks, GWS, Geelong.
Yes.
We're going to place a bet on every team. You come along to Beers with BackChat.
Yep.
We'll do a little draw, a little sweepstakes. You have to be a patron to be involved in the sweepstakes. And you get a team. If you get Melbourne, Geelong, one of the good teams, you'll be stoked. You get Gold Coast, Collingwood, maybe you won't be as impressed, but the odds will be higher.
Yes.
And
we put the bet on.
Yeah, we put the bet on.
We put the amount to be determined. It'll be enough to make ends meet. Even if Melbourne wins, who are the favourites, you'll still walk away with some money.
It'll be very good and very excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be good. So we've got some more details to add to Biz with BackChat, but Tuesday, March 1st, that'll be the date. Now, that's sorted.
Yep.
Happy with that?
Yeah, happy with that.
A little bit of a around the world look at things happening in sport.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see? We'll keep it local to start with. West Coast Eagles have a new mascot.
Yeah, I don't know why. So what's the guy? What do they call it now? Rock.
Rick the Rock.
Rick the Rock.
Rick the Rock Eagle. Rick.
So now they've brought in
Rick and Rosie.
Rosie. We don't know if they're sister, cousins, or they're husband, wife.
Could be mum and dad. Could be.
Oh, sorry. I guess they don't have to get married. They can. No. We don't know if they're romantically involved or if they're family.
Do you think that Rosie identifies as a lady, or?
I don't know. I guess they're probably having one of each, a guy and a girl.
Okay, so there's Rick and Rosie.
Yep.
Happy with it?
The announcement video for me was a bit odd. I don't know. I don't see the necessity of having it. I don't know why. It feels like a box ticking exercise.
West Coast haven't liked ticking too many boxes because they did miss the Pride Guernsey in the AFLW. They didn't tick that box, did they?
Maybe they thought this will help the situation by bringing Rosie
Hey,
in.
you said it, not me, Dan. I like it when you're in this sort of mood. Very good. I thought I was in the mood.
I mean,
Okay,
just
there
calling
you
it
go.
as it.
Good luck, Rosie. All the best.
Yeah.
Michaela Moore, did you see this one?
Oh, heartbreaking. Now, I don't...
Because I didn't.
Yeah, okay. I don't really watch soccer, and I don't really keep up to date with the international women's soccer.
Okay.
But USA are very good.
Yep.
1 or 2 in the world.
Yeah, they're good at most things in the States.
Yeah, it's annoying. Anyways, they were versing New Zealand. The first 3 goals of the match scored by USA, but not from a USA player. All 3 goals scored by Michaela Moore. She scores a hat-trick in own goals. The first one in the 4.5 minute.
No.
The second one in the 5.5 minute, like a minute and a half later. Is that right, Charlie? It's very early on.
They were all in the first 36 minutes.
They're all in the
No,
first
they
36
were
minutes.
not. 3-0.
3-0, all scored by Michaela Moore for New Zealand. If you haven't seen it,
New Zealand.
like you just got to look it up. And the first one, she's like, oh, it's annoying. Second one, a deflection off of her into the goals. She's like, obviously physically
Third one,
frustrated.
she's just
Third
picked
one,
it up. She's torped it into the top.
she's so dejected, and they lose 6-0 or something like that.
5-0, yeah.
5-0, sorry, 5-0.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, that's the sort of things we've been here on BackChat.
I've scored an own goal in soccer
course you
before.
have.
Wasn't my fault, but I've scored an own goal in
Please
soccer
tell
when I
me a
played for
little bit about
Balcatta.
it. Tell me about it.
I was playing
Indoor
defense.
soccer?
No, outdoor. I was playing for Balcatta, and the ball just came in. I tried to stop it. Came off my foot, went in the top corner. Very good shot. If I was attacking, but I was defending.
How'd you
my own
feel?
goal. Pretty dark. But then at halftime, I remember my coach looked everyone in the eye and was just like, "It's not his fault. Don't everyone get around him. We need to win this game to make up for it." And he was like very encouraging.
Whose fault was it, Dan?
Oh, I mean,
I tell you right now, I've
It's
been
mine.
around a few coaches.
No.
He's trying to make you feel good. That was your
yeah,
fault.
he is.
That was
Yeah,
your fault, Dan.
It's 100%. And I always saw myself as the leader of the club. And I stood up and said, "Boys, it's my fault. When it's bad, it's on me. When it's good, it's for the team."
That's the sort of thing that I know one man would be very proud of. Dino Const.
Yeah.
Now, a very
Big fan of mine in
Well,
sports.
I'm a big fan of Dino's because, look, there's a lot of cogs that go into making this podcast. There's social, there's putting the actual podcast and YouTube out, there's building studio, there's a lot of things, right? I spend a lot of time. But one part is, speaking with our community, our audience, and replying to comments, that sort of stuff. I started noticing a bit of a thing where, first of all, I didn't actually realise who the user was, but very complimentary to your involvement in this podcast, into this sports show.
Yeah.
I did a bit of research. Dino Const, very, very
Was the
happy
research you did just look at the username, which is Dino
No,
Const?
well, like once I figured it out, I did a filtered search of
Yeah, you looked at all of his comments.
every single comments.
I have a feeling it's a combination of my mum and dad. I appreciate the support, of course, and they're very supportive. But it's just it's just funny seeing it on a YouTube comment when that's the only one.
Would you like to hear some of them, Dan?
Some of them are very some of them are not really nice. The ones you
Hey,
sort
this
of
is great. The episodes just keep getting better. Well done.
yeah, good. That's a great YouTube comment.
Another great show.
Yep, strong.
Really good. Another fabulous show. Good luck, Daniel Venables. You are an amazing young man.
Yeah.
Another one. Great show.
Yep.
My next 2 favourites.
He's
I'll
probably
leave my favourite to last.
Yeah, okay.
Second favourite. So proud of you, Daniel.
yeah. See, that's the sort of
Daniel.
thing you get in a card or a text, which is fine.
No, but my favourite, and I truly love this. You are you are truly a gentleman. So proud of you, Daniel.
Yeah. Yep.
Gentleman.
That was.
I love it.
I remember.
No,
on-
I actually love it. I sound like I'm.
yeah.
actually
No,
taking
it's good.
the
I love it
piss
too.
out. I love it.
No, it's good. It's good to have support.
We love your mum and dad. Now, fantasy, BackChat fantasy. This will be a big part of what we do this year. I spoke to Selby Listier,
Good.
2-time winner of fantasy last night.
It's just outrageous.
He won 2017, 2018, 2 cars. He's asking me when's BackChat and Moira's Magic happening.
Yeah, good.
Moira's Magic is his company that he runs. It's a fantasy insider for anyone who wants to do well with that. So if you want to win the BackChat Patreon Fantasy League, we may have to get you signed up to that. So Selby will be joining us over the next 3 weeks, some point in time.
Very good.
For a nice little significant little bump in what we're meant to be doing on fantasy.
I definitely need his help. It's been that long since I played, and I want to win the tickets.
If you don't know what we're talking about, we've got a fantasy league. To sign up to it, you're going to sign up to Patreon, become a patron of the podcast. You can do that by going to our website, which is backchatpodcast.com.au. A little link will pop up. You can follow it that way, or you can follow any of the links in any of our socials, Instagram,
They all
Twitter,
get there.
TikTok. There's a little flashing, bobbling bar. You want to follow us that way? What's on the line, Dan?
2 grand final tickets.
Oh, yeah.
You got to win, be a patron, and you win 2 grand final. Who else is giving away grand final tickets?
We need to put together a list of like rules and laws, but you have to be a Patreon to win. That is number one.
For the entire duration of the season.
You need to be a Patreon. A patron. I almost got you have to be a patron for the entire season to win the league.
Yep.
We'll know. All right.
It's easy.
We just look it up and see.
Computer control F.
It's not
Bill
something
Schofield,
at the end of the year give us $5 because you missed.
Yeah.
You missed June.
There's no letters from mum to say, oh, he was going to do it, but he couldn't.
We've had a couple of requests on socials for maybe just a bit of help. So Selby will be able to help us do that. But also, might chuck some guides out on Patreon. So everyone who's entered will be able to access them. Just some little, this is how you log in. This is actually how you get
this is
into
where
the
you
league.
put the code, that sort of
This
stuff.
is how you build your team. This is what you might want to build your team with. We might get a little bit of depth. We can do that.
Good.
I would ask Charlie to do it, but he hasn't entered the team yet. Charlie?
It's coming. Don't worry. I haven't, Katya is in a better position than me. I don't have a name
Much
yet.
better. Much better.
I don't have a name yet.
All right. Well, we did figure out Kat's. What was your name?
BackChat.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Very good. Very
As
good.
time's gone on,
Very good. That'll be fantasy back chat.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that. Now,
I'm excited about this because I've been loving it every time we've done this.
yeah. So as you've said, why your team can win the 2022 Grand Final this year in the AFL has triggered a few people online because they see one and they think we're doing one. Well, you know what? We're sharing the love. So let's get straight into it. Geelong. Let me tell you why Geelong can win the 22. Let me tell you why Geelong can win the 2022 AFL Grand Final, Dan.
Please tell me.
Home ground advantage. Only Geelong win at Kardinia Park. I don't know what it's called anymore. Skilled Stadium, HBF.
The one with the roof on it.
Yeah.
GMHBA.
GMHBA. I don't
whatever.
like, who knows, right? It could be called anything. Doesn't matter.
Can you do us a favour and sign a contract longer than a year with your sponsor, please?
They play, they win, and they take a lot of money off their sponsor, whoever their naming rights, right? So that's done. They play 8 games, they're guaranteed. There's 8. Put them in the bank. Just win 4 more. You're in finals. Presto. Hey, presto. Whee. You know what else? Friend of the family, Tom Hawkins.
Still very good.
The big Tomahawk. Enough said. Do I need to say much?
He dominates in the forward line.
That's all good. It's a bit of a last hurrah for them. It is the time that Patrick Dangerfield hasn't won a flag.
Yep.
It is time for them to stand up. Enough's enough. They're a bit like John Farnham on his last tour. And every finals they've made in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, they're one of the most successful sides in the last 20 years.
What was the last year they won the grand final? 20...
Honestly, it'd be about the same time John Farnham last toured Australia.
Yeah, probably. But it feels like every year they're like, oh yeah, we're coming back, we're doing it again.
2007. No, 2011.
Yeah.
2011.
But it feels like they're
They're
there every time.
Every year,
Yep.
which is credit to them. But this is going to be the last time. Just like John Farnham, he may still be touring as well. That's undecided.
You know we're going to be having this exact conversation next season.
Calm the Cats. GWS.
Yes.
Let me tell you why.
Greater
The Giants.
Western Sydney.
Oh, there's a big, big sound of the
Do you know the words?
Do I need to say any more? Is that about it?
Is that why they're going to win? Come on.
Stephen Canelio.
Yep.
In form is one of the best ball-winning midfielders in the competition. He will not have a camera crew following him around this year. Last year, he had a documentary made about him and a few other players in the competition.
Yep.
He lost the captaincy. He was dropped. He was injured the whole year. I reckon they've figured out, don't put cameras around Stephen Canelio. He returns to his best, and their midfield, Kelly, Taranto, Canelio, a few young blokes, they've got a ruckman now. Shane Mumford has been doing the best of his ability.
Yep.
He's 47 years old, still playing in the AFL. Shane's retired. Thank God. Not thank God for him. I mean, he's had a great career, but thank God he's able to have a bit of a rest. Big Bruce. He's been around a bit, but now he's rucking for the GWS Giants, and we can just start giving them a little bit of service.
Can I ask a quick
A
question?
little bit of service.
Have you ever been tackled by Shane Mumford?
No, not something I really want to do.
I think it'd be brutal. Anyways, keep going.
Anyway, Shane's going to be sitting in the stands watching Bruce going about it. You know what Shane's going to be doing?
Can we actually believe in them this time?
Yeah, odds $15 to win. They're not far off it.
All right.
They will win. It's
So if you pull them
2022.
in the sweepstakes, you'd be stoked.
I'm not joking around here. GWS for the win, baby.
All right.
Now, Hawthorn. Let me tell you about Hawthorn.
Please tell me about Hawthorn.
This is why the Hawthorn Hawks can win a flag. They're going to be coached to a premiership.
Ooh.
Right?
Yep.
Yes, they may have moved on Alistair Clarkson, one of the great coaches of the modern era, potentially all time.
Yeah.
They've
there.
ended his contract prematurely, which, look, got to say, credit where credit's due. That's a big,
Ballsy.
big boy move, Hawthorn. They've brought in Sam Mitchell, son of the club, played here at West Coast, won a Brownlow medal for Hawthorn. He is going to coach them to a flag. He is the best coach I played under as a player.
Yep.
That's
One of the
it.
reasons why you won the flag in 2018.
A big reason. And there's lots of things that go into winning premierships, but he was a big reason. Another reason, Adrian Hickmott. He was at West Coast coaching. You know where he's coaching this year?
I believe it's the Hawthorn Hawks.
He's been recruited to Hawthorn, so they got him, David Hale. They've got Robert Harvey. Don't know what he did as a player. Oh, that's right. He won 2 Brownlow medals. So they got 3 Brownlow medals. They know how to play.
Yeah.
Do they know how to coach? I think so. So they will coach Hawthorn to a flag. I got one more thing for you. This is a big sell. This is what I did at Carlton. I think this is the Carlton of last week.
Okay. Which I'm super high on.
They've got young key position players, right? And good ones. Granger Barras has been drafted. Kazitsky's a good player. They've got some other good young key position players.
Yep.
You know, the last time they had some good young key position players, it's about 2008, I think. Who was it? Oh, that's right.
Huge.
Buddy Franklin and Jared Ruffhead. You know what happened in 2008? You might remember from when Xavier Ellis got on this podcast.
Did they kick 100 goals each or something?
Oh, don't worry about that, mate. They won the flag.
Premiership.
Mate. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they absolutely won the flag. It's going to happen again. Look, am I saying the young kids right now are like Franklin and Ruffhead? Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yeah,
huge.
yeah. Hawthorn's going to win the flag.
There we go.
There you go, $67 to 1. So you want that in the sweepstakes too.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You like that?
I do.
You like Hawthorn?
Still highest than Carlton though, but
All right, just to finish off this little bit before we get into a big guest we got this week. I'm very
really
excited.
excited about this.
Media watch. I didn't want to
Yeah.
let this go before we go. Now, this has happened a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
but we haven't had a chance to talk about it. Simon Goodwin, premiership coach of the Melbourne Demons. Some things or reports started to surface about his, I guess, behaviour or his
The way he
operates.
interact with players.
I don't know. His maybe his coaching.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were around drinking. His behaviour away from the football field. There was bullying being suggested, mistreatment of players. I just found the whole thing ridiculous. And you know who else did? Max
Mr.
Gawn.
Max Gawn.
Yeah, the captain of the football club found it ridiculous. And you know why he did? Because they won a flag last year.
Yep.
Now, that's not saying, well, you can behave how you like and winning fixes everything.
Helps a lot.
But it can't, look, again, it doesn't excuse poor behaviour, but what I probably look at is the behaviour can't have been that bad.
Didn't help Justin Langer either.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
But still,
Yeah,
you
that's actually direct. Yeah, that did not help Justin Langer. So the opposite thing happened to Simon Goodwin. The players rallied around him.
that's the difference. Yep.
The players supported him. The players said, you know what, you took us to a flag when you get behind you. So Max Gawn, I'll quote, I'm going to continue to have a beer with my boss and my coach, and what we've learned over a couple of beers at the pub at our local at the time, maybe that's when we nutted out 2021 and we're able to go on and do what we did.
What did they do?
Well,
they
they
won a flag.
Yeah, so like I couldn't agree with that more. The fact that you can sit down, have a few beers, open up a little bit, you cannot deny that, look, no silly behaviour, not doing anything stupid. Having a few beers, you drop a layer of defensiveness, whatever, a layer of your personality.
Bit of filter removal as well.
And you can have some honesty. You might be able to, and I'm sure that's a thing, that they were able to figure some things out over a couple of beers. Simon Goodwin seems a big part about that. Best sides I've ever played in has been a big off-field drinking culture. It really has. And that's not an abusive drinking culture. It's been liking everyone's company, being able to hang out with each other. So I found that run around just ridiculous. And look, I don't have anyone specific to call out, but I found that entire beat up by the media.
Yep.
That's on Media Watch this week.
There you go.
That's about all I've got for us. We're not going to do the other ones, Charlie. I know you're trying to get me in there, but that's all right. That's all right. That's Media Watch for you.
Lewis Jetta, you've often said the best player you've ever played with.
Yes, one question, two questions you get asked a lot. How far can you kick?
Really?
That's from kids.
Yeah.
But, like,
how far can you kick?
Pretty far.
Oh, wait, can I tell you a story about that?
No.
Okay.
We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, true. No.
Jets.
I'll say it.
The question I get asked, who the best player you played with? Now, you got to remember, I'm not going to be able to say this in front of him. I probably will. Judd, Brutus, a couple of Brownlow medalists, Ben Cousins, another one, Dean Cox, Darren Glass, Andrew Embley, John Worsfold was my coach.
Josh Kennedy,
Shannon Hearn, Bo Waters.
Bo Waters is in that discussion.
Absolutely. All Australian, vice captain, big
Run
player.
through a brick wall if you told him to.
Yeah, correct. Play with some good players. Lewis Jetta's the best.
Oh.
And he joins us next. All right. I reckon Peter Bowl was a dream to interview. And not that, I don't have access to Peter Bowl, but I have access to this man. And I've been very excited to have him on the podcast. So there's no introduction needed. Lewis Jetta, welcome.
Thank you for being here.
How are you? How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad for Monday night.
You look good. You're looking good. You're keeping in shape.
Staying fit. Sports every day.
Really?
Work pretty easy.
What sports? Footy.
Footy, but my big passion was volleyball, indoor beach volleyball.
Really?
And I couldn't get into BMX riding because it kept stacking it. So I figured volleyball, sand.
How are those little calves of yours coping with the jumping on the sand?
It's actually good. It's actually probably the best recovery you can get, physio, because when we was at West Coast, it used to be sand run, beach runs, stairs. So volleyball is kind of a win-win.
You look good. It's good to have you here. 2-time premiership player, Dan. 2 different teams. Highly successful at the top level. He's actually more than a 2-time premiership player. Waffle premiership player.
Yep.
You want any other flags?
Yes, under 14s against Harvey Bulls.
Good. Playing 4.
4. Then you put in basketball, 3 of those.
Okay, good.
And then you also add the Guaba Carnival in Bunbury, which is all Indigenous carnival. So it's a lot of skills and speed there.
Okay, well, that leads us nicely.
So he's a champion.
That leads us nicely into the first question we ask every guest that comes on this podcast. The greatest sporting achievement that you've ever achieved. Now, okay, 2018 premiership, yeah, good on you. No one really cares.
Yep.
I want to hear about Lewis Jetta's greatest ever sporting achievement, not on the football field. What you got?
Not on the football field. It would definitely be taking a trip to Hawaii and standing on a longboard and staying up for about 200 metres without falling off. And the greatest achievement to that story is doing a handstand and trying to do the same thing.
That's huge.
What else do you want from the great man? Should we continue this podcast? Or no?
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming in.
No, thank you. Cheers. See you guys.
All right, so you're a longboarding champion. Should we call you Kelly Slater? Lewis Kelly Slater?
Nah, not that far. I was watching some big wave rider though on documentary on Netflix.
Phil Reid?
No. Kai Hurst.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was watching his doco and absolutely loved it.
Great,
So.
Good. All right.
What happens? I just got to ask. What happens when you've ridden away for 200 meters? Where you got to paddle back?
Yeah, you got to pedal back. It's the longest way ever.
Your little arm.
Yeah, my arms are dead, so I had my head down, just paddling. It's like looked up, I'm like, wow, there's another 200 meters to go. Not realizing I'm paddling, and the waves are pushing me back. So I almost quit surfing it that day.
I want to we've done a few podcasts together, lots of chats on and off the beers, spent enough time around each other to know each other's stories. But I want to kind of do a bit of a deep dive into your little journey. Yep. I want to start at the beginning. Footy, Like where did footy start for Jets? Was it coming to your life late? Were you kicking the footy around a 2-year-old? Well,
No, footy came in the winter. So it was basketball, summer, winter, footy. And
how old were you?
I remember playing my first game at 5 years old. Denim shorts, Guernsey, no shoes.
Denim shorts.
Playing,
Let's bring them back for the NAB Cup.
Playing at Kelly Park down in Bunbury. So I still remember my first goal as well. So just forward pocket, had like 3 kicks, kicked 1 goal.
Huge.
No,
Is this Oz kick? Is this...
yeah, it would have been Oz kick, yeah, but no shoes.
You weren't drafted as an 18-year-old.
No, I was drafted as 20.
Why?
Because I reckon, or in 18 I went to the state, but they realised I was fucking small, tiny, so they went with Harry Taylor instead.
Really?
Yeah, Geelong was the best bet, but they chose Harry Taylor instead, and I just went back home.
So you stayed in the Waffle as a 17, 18-year-old. You won a flag the year you got drafted?
No, so in, when was it, 07, played in the Colts Grand Final.
Yep.
Lucky to stay in the actual side because the state boys came back. And this is when, you know, Alex Rance, Chris Sharons, Jeffy Garlett's, Michael Walters, Nick Nat, all these boys was coming back from state. And
How's your team? Stacked.
yeah, ridiculous. I think out of the 22 players, 20 got drafted. And I was the unlucky one. So, yeah, after the following year, 2008, went up to reserves and didn't worry about it. Played down in South West, down in Bridgetown. Travelled, played there Saturday, come back up and play Sunday. So
Did you?
2 games in 1 weekend.
Where?
Yeah. But that 2017 was probably the best memory I can think of because it was a grand final Saturday with Swans and everyone wanted to party, after party, sweet. But me and Neville Jetta was like, no, we got another grand final Sunday. We had to go back down to Bunbury and play on Sunday in the grand final.
So Neville Jetta, Melbourne, Neville Jetta, cousin?
Yep, first cousin.
Did you play a lot of footy with your family growing up? Like brothers? I know you got brothers, you got cousins.
Yep. So pretty much our family's huge. My dad is one of 15 and my mum is one of 9. So our family's just ridiculous.
Wow.
And I just remember our footy teams just being our first and second cousins. So that was basically it. We literally had our footy team of cousins.
You got like 4 divisions.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that was the biggest memory growing up playing footy. But as we got serious, me and Nev decided to move to Perth, or try to get to Perth. So I was training 3 nights a week, travelling, leaving school, and then playing on the weekends.
Mate, I want to bring this one up pretty early, and hopefully you're all right talking about it. I did chat with you before. So this is from a listener who knew you were coming on. We put it out for social media, who we will wait. You know, that's a very...
Social.
You know about social media. So I haven't written who this is from, but it was a great message. It says, hey, lads, I'd love to hear Jetta's experience with his dad being part of the stolen generation.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he feels comfortable talking about it, but I remember watching an interview with Neville. We're just talking about. That's who he means by Neville, right?
Yeah.
Yep. In that interview, he talked about his parents and uncles and aunties being part of the stolen generation. Was blown away by a reminder of how recent this really was. I found it so educational. Really opened my eyes to sharing this with people. I think it's really important to be shared. But I completely understand if Lewis doesn't want to talk about it. Yep. Mate, talk to me about that because that's something I've never spoken to you about.
Well, yeah, I can speak on a parent point of view.
Yeah.
It was back in the day. That was the law. The law was if Aboriginal children are not doing well, the police can come and pick them up and take them and put them in schools and stuff, and not knowing they're actually kidnapping kids from a perfectly good home. So my dad, and like Neville said probably in his interview, my dad and my brothers and sisters was taken away at a very young age and not brought back to when they was like 15, 12 years old. So they missed all their childhood together with their parents. But I remember my dad taking us out to a little town called Doolacon where I used to live and literally showed us the place where they got taken. And at the time you didn't realise, but when you left, like being a parent myself, all of my cousins that has kids, we just literally broke down in tears because we couldn't imagine, our kids getting taken away and we not being able to do anything about it. It was literally the law. So, my uncle, Graham Taylor, Uncle Swag, he literally explained, they was at the front of their house playing, Nan and Pop went into the house, came back, and the kids were all gone. Ran around the street looking for them, but they was literally gone. And my dad always says, so I think it's on the corner of Walcott and Guildford.
Yeah.
So you got the TAFE there. That used to be the homes where they used to be.
The kids?
All the kids used to be taken there. So that's where my dad stayed. They still have the same building there, but they just turned into a TAFE course sort of place now. And where the lighthouse used to be, all those parks there, that's where my dad used to stay, run away from all these areas. Also went as far as Contanning. So, but there's a lot of, like my dad, there's a lot of parents in that generation that was taken away all over WA, all over Australia.
So not only for parents, but the kids themselves. So your parents' parents, but then your parents who were kids at the time. Like, how do you actually reconcile that? Like, is it something that is able to be not accepted, but like, does that ever go away?
No, it definitely doesn't, because one of my dad's brothers, he still has the same effect with his daughter, and he was always on the alert. Can't do this, can't do that. In some way, she felt trapped, but in a way, in his eyes, he's like, I'm too scared to leave you of what happened to me. So it's still happening now, and he's still the same with his grandchildren now. He's too scared to, I'm not scared, but he's afraid that, it might get taken away or something.
Do you think that that entire process in Australian history, was that a break in culture for Indigenous Australians? Is there a danger that parts of your ancestors doesn't get passed down to you and your kids, and because of that moment in history?
Yep. Well, the last person that spoke like Noongar language clear, just like we're speaking English, he passed away, and he was the most fluent speaker out of our family. And for us Noongar people, we lost that tradition. We only starting to learn it now. And myself, I rarely know it. My dad knows a few words and stuff, but like our kids now, we can't really teach them because we don't know. It's been taken away from us. That's where, if you go up north, that culture is very strong up there still, and they can still speak it like with their first language, and English is their second. So,
compared to someone like me though, or any other non-Indigenous player that you ever played with, you always came across to me as someone who was like highly connected. Like, I'm not talking about to the land or anything in particular, but like all facets of your life, like, to the land, but family and to your kids and to footy. And then even like on the footy field, like things would happen where you would be the only person that knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Like kicks you used to do, and, running and bouncing and just things like I think about your career and moments that happened that I don't think about anyone. I say regularly the best player I ever played with, because things happened that I just never saw with anyone else. Can I trace that back to like the Indigenous aspect and like the culture? Do you think like that plays a big part in it, or is it just like how you are?
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
I reckon. For me, I see life very slow. Like, I'm able to slow things down and see it very clear when everything is moving so fast. But I don't know, in the Indigenous side of it, I'm not too sure how it happens. It's just
because it's not just you. Like
there's a lot of
Indigenous guys around the league.
Yeah,
everyone who's listening would know that things happen with Indigenous forwards, with backmen, with midfielders that you just like, what's going on there? Like,
it's like we see 3 steps before it's going to happen,
seriously.
And it's weird because sometimes even in life, driving down the street, you can see something happen before it does. What is it, that Final Destination movie? So it's like, oh no. So it's like, it's similar to that. It's like
it's just like intuition.
Yeah, and it's weird, but in a good way, it's very helpful.
Yeah, that's cool, mate. I appreciate you talking about that and sharing a bit of that. Yeah. It's like, I certainly never heard you speak about it.
And probably this is probably me being naive, not knowing the full story with it, but I wasn't on the impression, I don't know if this happened every time, that parents would just come out and see their kids gone without knowing. Like, in my mind, I imagine people knocking on the door, sorry, we're taking children. But, man, for your grandparents to then have just all of a sudden kids missing is hectic.
And I always think back, my nan and pop, they had 15 kids. So it's not like you're going to notice one. They was all very close, but my mum was very lucky. My pop and nan on mum and dad's side, on mum's side, they ran away on a horse and cart and took all the kids. So that was lucky. But my dad's side wasn't so lucky. So
Jets' mum, beautiful lady. I remember 2018 doing a lap last training session in Perth, and so a big crowd, it's like 20,000 people down there, huge.
Yeah.
And somehow I found her and ended up having like a 30-minute conversation to her.
It's so weird when you see a notable face in a random place, and there's so much people, and you just notice it. Oh,
it was so good, mate. It was so good. So okay, let's bring it back to footy. So you were drafted to Sydney as a mature age recruit. Still skinny, but you were skinny when you got to Sydney.
I was 62 kilos, full of muscle.
You were skin and bone.
It was like just skin, and then a couple of bones, kneecaps, elbows. That was it.
What was that like? So Swan Districts, you've lived in Bunbury, you've moved up to play footy in Perth, and then you moved to Sydney. Like that's nothing like Perth.
No, well, leaving Bunbury to go to Perth for a year with Graham, my older brother, that was a big move because I didn't have my license. I was cruising around on a train, riding my bike to work, training. That was big enough for me, and I had to learn really quickly to grow up. And once I got that call that I'm going to Sydney, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm moving to the biggest bloody city in Australia. What the hell?
Yeah.
But once I got there, I was roomed with Shane Mumford, Campbell Heath, and Byron Summoner, who I found out Byron Summoner's from Adelaide, but we're the same mob, and apparently he was my uncle. So it made things a lot more smoother.
You know how you always hear everyone's uncles and everyone's cousins. It actually makes sense with yours. You got like 25.
I
How
got
did
like
you even stumble upon that?
I have
back family tree or something, and
well, my dad is very good at our family tree. He knows so much about our family tree. It's ridiculous. I tried to write it down. He said, "Nah, go grab some spray paint, put it on the wall, and we'll start then." I was like, "You sure? We can write it small." He said, nah, you need a wall to do it. It's too big.
wow.
So you go to Sydney from the footy element. I asked a good friend of our family at BackChat to give me the best Lewis Jetta stat. Now, the best Lewis Jetta stat is at the bottom of this, but the top part of this, Lewis Jetta holds the record for the most behinds kicked before scoring a goal.
Yep.
19 behinds before finally kicking career goal number 1. Now, I want to finish this because it ends in a beautiful way. Only kicked 1 goal in 2018, the one that gave West Coast the lead late in the fourth quarter of the qualifying final versus Collingwood. So, full circle, would you rather kick 1 goal after 19 behinds in a season, or would you rather kick 1 goal to win a qualifying final in a premiership season?
All right, can I be real honest?
Yes, please.
The first goal I would have to go with the first goal. The only reason is because after the game, some media guys offered me pillows.
What do you mean?
They offered me pillows. Take photo of this and we'll give you a pillow sponsor. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. It's just the first goal. Now I think back, I should have took the fucking sponsor.
Pillows, bro. Imagine if you're still on pillow sponsorship.
Oh, that would have been the best thing ever.
What was can you remember the brand?
I can't remember the brand, but the guy gave me the pillow and said, take a photo for sponsors. And I looked at the media guy at the time. I couldn't remember who it was. And she took it off me. And I was like, now I think back, fuck, I should have held onto that pillow.
To put this in perspective, I kicked 22 goals in my career. Jets has had 20 shots in one season, right? 19 shots.
Remember there being a lot of set shots?
All types.
Yeah, there was, I reckon, about even. So for the year, it was 1 goal, 21. But on that day, it was 19 behinds, first goal, and then I kicked another 3 behinds.
Was that 1 goal set shot?
No, that was, believe it or not, it was a banana on an angle, right foot, running in.
I believe it.
I don't know why I just didn't straighten up or just do a drop kick. I had to make it real difficult and do a banana and kicked it almost out of the stadium.
I know why you did. You missed 20 in a row.
The easy shots. I'm sick of missing the easy shots.
You kicked 37 goals more than 37 goals the year after.
40.
45 in 2012.
Yeah.
That was your biggest.
That was the next year, right? That was 2011 or was that 2010?
2012 in the premiership year.
Yeah.
So I beat Goodsy. So if you're watching Goodsy.
Why? So what happened? What clicked?
I don't know. A good preseason. I came back. So start of 2012 preseason, I came back and ran a 3K time trial, and it was
which is a good thing to start with, that you ran it.
Yep, I literally ran it on a cross country. It was ridiculous. It wasn't around the oval. There was no grass. It was gravel road, hills, footpath, muddy routes, half oval. That was it. And some guys were still running 9:30, 10, and old Jet Boy is just plugging along 12 minutes 30, which literally everyone finished, and I'm still going. I think they started packing up the shit, and I'll just finish. And all I can remember seeing is Stewie Maxfield talking to John Lombard and just saying, "All right, Stewie, he's yours for the pre-season. Just get him fit." So I missed a lot of sessions, but Stewie Maxfield got me really fit.
Really? And so your fitness took that into the season, kicked over 40 goals. I mean, that's huge.
It's
premiership season.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you played as a forward that whole year?
Wing.
Did you?
A wing.
You didn't kick 40 goals from the wing.
Yeah, played wing and a little bit half forward.
So you mentioned Adam Goodes. There's some sort of moments that stand out for me to do with you and him. To talk to me about your and his relationship, because he would have been a senior Indigenous guy in the Sydney team, and you were really young, up and coming young Indigenous guy.
No, he was like
or is your relationship?
He was like a big brother. He made it so much easier for me over there. But the one thing that I do remember the most was going to his place for pasta, and just going straight to his kitchen table, sitting down and doing the jigsaw puzzles. He always had a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and every time I go over there, I'll find 5 or 6 pieces, and then after dinner, find another 6.
Really?
And take off. But no, he was literally a superstar over there walking around Bondi. It's ridiculous. And being a rugby background city, I couldn't believe it, how much people noticed him. But I guess when you really look at it, he was huge in the community as well, especially for the Indigenous people over there. He spent so much time in the community, which was a big thing.
So a big moment, in my mind was effectively why Adam Goodes has stepped away from the AFL now in hindsight. He was copping a lot of criticism publicly. Fans were booing him. For what reason, don't know. I think I played on him in this game, actually. I do remember playing in the game, and you were getting a little bit fiery. You were playing for Sydney at this stage. You were over in Subi.
Yeah.
I don't know who won. Doesn't really matter. But was it an Indigenous round, or did you? The reason I asked, because in that game, Sydney v West Coast, Jets was a little bit fiery, which we like when Jets gets a little bit fiery. Jets kicked a goal and did a war dance towards the West Coast crowd. Little did you know, or maybe you did know, you'd be at West Coast the next year, which I find hilarious.
And kicked the goal in the same pocket.
And did you fake it? I think you faked. Did you do a little fake? Like,
I reckon I did it from.
Yeah, you did.
But bring it back. So that moment, you do that war dance as a young Indigenous guy out of support for Goodsy? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's all it was. Because a lot of people, when we played Carlton over at SCG, they didn't realise that we were speaking to the Flying Boomerangs. And these are a bunch of young Indigenous kids that all over Australia form one team and represent Australia overseas against all other countries.
So this is the dance you did when it was Sydney Carlton, and there was a bunch of you that did a bit of a dance after a goal, right?
Yeah, yep. So we, after that week, the Flying Boomerangs came to the Oval training and showed us their dance. And me and Goodsy promised, like, the boys, if we kick a goal, we'll do your dance. And lucky for Goodsy, it was him. And that's pretty much it.
So you would have come off the bench to do it.
Yeah, I was too far away. I think I was caught in the back line.
Right, so Goodsy does the dance to them.
Yep, and just representing all the young kids.
Yeah.
But other people took it negative and bad. And
was that the same game that he had someone removed from the ground?
No, so that was, I'm pretty sure that was later in the year or the following year.
Yeah.
So that was Collingwood.
So, okay, so bring that back. Goodsy does the dance. You play West Coast at Subiaco. You do the dance.
Yeah.
How did it feel? Beautiful.
Yeah, I was just hoping. The best part was I took a mark on the cra. And it's hard to take a mark on him.
What was he doing?
I don't know.
What
is he doing in the back pocket? I think the raceway was right there. He's trying to get off. But took a mark on him, and once I went through, I just got sick of the booing. I got sick of it because people half the time didn't know what I was doing, what they was booing about. And some of it was a bit confusing because I don't know if they was booing a good player or the racial side of it. So I just got sick of it, and did my Wardance.
Yeah. And you're a young guy then. You weren't this senior player that was, you were early 20s. Right?
Yeah, I was early 20s, probably 21, 22. Yeah. But I do remember, I don't know why, but I was so angry. The next play, ball goes into the Eagles forward line, I run past Yowie and just drop him with the elbow in the back.
I know what you do.
He gets mad. He gets mad, and then Bunga comes over and starts wrestling. And then I'm not too sure if it's true or not, but I think maybe Simo said to Pritter, boys, don't wrestle with him. Don't wrestle with him. He wants to come over this day. I heard that rumour going around. I'm like, is that true?
Because I reckon there was rumours at this stage. This is his last year at Sydney. This happened, and a little message came out like, rough him up, but don't rough him up too much. We kind of want him to get over here.
That was a bit like what happened with you and Tim Kelly. Didn't you go at him the last game at Geelong? And but that's because you knew he was coming over.
Well, that was happening, right? Because the year before that never went down, and so we knew that it'd be a big thing. And so Jets was playing that game, and Jets knows what I'm like as a player. Like never personal.
Never personal.
I'm a placid. I'm actually pretty placid off the field, right? Sort of.
A little bit.
But like he was dead enemy. Like he was one of their best players. Like I'm not going to be like, oh hey mate, I can't wait to have you on our team next year. I went at him as hard as possible, and then they won. And I went straight up to him at the end of the game, shook his hand, and I apologised. So I mean, you're my boy now, because I mean we were done, we were out. So I got you now, but I went hard in that game, and he played well. So
it's ridiculous because they had Abler and Selwood, but he was a top guy.
Yeah,
getting all the ball. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. So I mean, it obviously didn't damage the trade, did it? So we get you win a flag, 2012 at Sydney.
Yeah.
Young guy, flag. What's that experience like?
Well, it was amazing because all through the year, the coaches was drawing up plays for me, and I'm just this young kid, just loves to run with the ball. So we literally invented the paddock, the slingshot.
Which was what? You get high.
So Goodsy, Sam Reed get up. I get up and just muck around in the back line, and then I just bolt straight forward, and the boys just kick it forward.
So that play with Cyril chasing you down the
Oh, that was just made up. That was just made up. I just got to Heath Grundy. I was like, Reg, just give it here. Just give it. And just took off running. He's like, Cyril's coming, go.
You knew it.
All right. Yeah. Once I had a little glimpse, that's why I ran towards Goodsy, but I knew he wasn't going to do nothing because he wanted to see it as well, I reckon. So, but it was one of the highlights of that. Only reason I kicked it is because bloody Sean Berger, an old bastard, he cut the angles. That's the only reason I would try and run the whole field.
What slow old boys do, mate.
They cut the angles.
Best Corellas in the game.
And he looked so fast cutting the angle too.
So Sean Burgoyne, Cyril Lewis Jetta out in the wing in the grand final. You win that. Do you remember much of it?
Yeah, because I kicked it to Craig Bird, and he had Josh Gibson and some other guy. He had two on him. I'm like, why didn't I just drop it low? There was someone in front of him that was leading. I couldn't remember who. But I just kicked it long to 2-on-1.
Winning a flag so early, and then with hindsight of winning a flag late in your career, did you appreciate it enough as a young guy, or was it just sort of something that happened and you... how did you feel about looking back on it now?
Looking back on it now, I was just
that premiership.
So the Sydney one was just in the moment. Didn't expect it. I, like most young guys coming in the system, just get to training, impress, don't do anything wrong. And once that first one came around, crack into the team, I knew I was going to play because I was a senior player playing waffle, and that's what they literally told me. So I was like, all right, I'll just try to stay in the team. And it was, touch and go for a little bit. 2011, in and out. Sub rule came in, got caught, super sub.
Good.
Come in for a quarter.
Good.
But then running after the game. But that 012, when I came back in bad shape, and Stewie just literally absolutely slaughtered me in Moore Park, that kind of set me up for the whole season. And once I started finding my feet, getting the ball more, running with the ball, getting more than 3 kicks, five touches, the game plan started to go around, using the speed and smart ball use. And once we got into the finals, me and Goodsy just literally looked at each other and like, all right, here we go again. Here we go.
That's late.
And yeah, I still think about it now. Like me and Junior watch highlights now because Junior's into it right now. He's huge and he just watches the highlights. He's like, Dad, you remember this? I was like, yeah, I do. And then we sit there and all the memories like come back like that yesterday.
So you got traded at the end of 2015.
Yep.
Right? So you didn't play in the losing grand final for West Coast.
No, but I played for Sydney the year before.
You played in the losing grand final.
Yeah, 14.
How does that experience drive you?
Well, I got to thank Big McAvoy for that one because I ran into him and knocked myself out.
Wow.
And then I came back out. I think that was in the second quarter. Came back out and was 60 points down.
Oh, wow.
So I was like...
pretty much no Jetta, no Swans?
Yeah, pretty much. No, it was... I don't know. It was... Something felt off from the start. It felt like... Because we literally had a super team. We had Goodsy, Buddy and Tippett at our forward line. And nothing else was changed throughout the year. And Hawthorn had literally the same side. Only Brian Lake, I think they bring in. And maybe Spanger.
Yeah, Spang.
I think Spang might have played that one as well. But apart from those two, they were literally the same side. Yeah. But they just came out more harder, aggressive, and we wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. So you get traded at the end of that year, 2015 out of 2015.
Yep.
Were you homesick? Were you wanting to come home?
No, I absolutely loved it over there. Only reason I came home was my kids was growing up too quick. They was literally growing up. And before I knew it, they was already in school. I'm like, fuck, I got to get home here. I've had enough here. 6 years in Sydney is long enough. And when I left, it wasn't no bad blood. It was literally a family. I went over there. They treated me well. And I can still go over there to these days and walk in the club and still feel at home. But when I left, it was like it was a new beginning. It just felt right. And I couldn't come back to Freo. They offered a second round pick, so I went, all right, I'm going to West Coast.
So was that a chance, Freo West Coast? Like
yeah,
either one?
It weighed up a couple, yeah. But they offered second round.
You would look shocking in purple, mate.
Nah, purple. I will only play the ones where they all wear the white.
Charlie over here, he's a very big fan of Fremantle Dockers. Would you like Jets in the...
I would have absolutely loved to have seen that.
If they wore the green uniform or the white uniform, I would have. But
yeah. Well, you got to bring it back.
Purple.
I got to ask about, speaking of Guernseys, 32 at Sydney, and then you made the change to 23 at West Coast. So why? So Simon, that I mentioned before, he was repping 32 at the time when you came over.
Simon Tunbridge.
Simon Tunbridge. Was that number important to you before you moved here and wanted to keep it?
No, I literally chose 32 because my older brother Peter played in the Southwest and won 4 premierships. So I was like, all right, I'll choose 32. That's a lucky number. So that's the reason why I chose it over there. And when I came back, I saw Tunners wearing it, and I couldn't believe number 23 was available. Yeah. I was like, oh, shit.
Was Glassy must have just finished up.
I think he retired a year before.
Yeah.
And that came out, I'm like, all right, yep, 23 it is. It couldn't be more perfect. So I mean, it was 32 over there, Shaquille O'Neal, and then MJ over here. MJ. No LeBron for those fans.
Is that ever is that ever like a conversation? Because when a veteran player moves clubs and they've got their number, they've had it for that many years. Is there any because Simon, I think at that point had played 3 games over a few years, or maybe 5 games over 3 years. Is there anything like, all right, this is my number, like give it up?
I can't remember anyone that ever happening.
No.
Handing over a number to someone else?
Not purely because they played too many games.
Or even like a swap. Like no one's ever like, I want, Masso's in 7, I want 7. Here's a bottle of beautiful whippersnapper whiskey.
Yep.
Which we haven't really spoken about, but just some of the best whiskey you'll find around whippersnapper.
I haven't mentioned it just because I'm drinking it and just enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
So no one's... All right, there you go. Yeah. No, I just didn't know if that was a move, but if MJ is available, you take that.
Oh, 100%.
You're a West Coast fan growing up?
Yep.
So you had some good moments for Sydney, but you had some big moments for West Coast. To name a couple that come to mind for me, you won a game that I don't know if many people remember it. I certainly do. The last game we played at Subiaco Oval.
Yeah.
Against Adelaide.
Yep.
So it was a bit of a weird scenario. We had to beat them by 23 points or 22.7 points.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, it was a moving percentage.
Yeah, right.
It was on percentage to get into finals. Well, the last round of the season, it was the last game of the year, last game of Subiaco, and we were winning we were up by about 4 goals at 3/4 time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of moving. It was a moving scale.
Yep.
And we had to win by a certain amount of margin. But if they kick goals, like it had to get bigger to get the bigger percentage.
1.5.
So I think from Melbourne, from memory.
Yeah.
So it was Melbourne was wanting us to lose to get them in the finals for the first time for it's been a
They
while.
had a big watch party.
Yeah. So because I remember this.
That would have been a shocker. An
'Cause
absolute shocker.
Nev rang me up before the game, or he texted me. He said, "Please lose so I can play finals." You had yours.
Because they would have all been sitting there on the waters watching the game.
Hoping.
Went down to the final quarter, final 5 minutes. 10 minutes to go. Charlie Cameron, playing for Adelaide at the time, now at Brisbane Lions. Quick man.
Bloody
The
fast.
ball gets kicked into space, just like it got kicked in front of Lewis Jetta and Cyril Rioli on the grand final. Perhaps more at stake here because, and I've mean that seriously. Now, I know it was a grand final, Hawthorn Sydney, but West Coast, they built this game up to be, like, we were going to beat Adelaide. They weren't a good team that year.
Yeah.
And we were fighting for 8th spot in the ladder. Not that we were amazing, but we should have beaten them. They built it up as this thing. We're going to win. We're going to make finals. And like
The last game in Subi.
yeah, everyone was there to watch this game and watch us win. And they'd kicked a goal and they were coming to get within a certain point range that would have left us out of finals. The ball gets kicked out on the wing. Picture exactly the same circumstance of when it got kicked out in front of Jets, but it gets kicked out in front of Charlie Cameron, and Jets has given him about 15-metre head start, I reckon.
Yep.
Jets runs the entire length of the wing. We're going to put some footage under this because it's one of the best things you'll ever see.
And
Catches
remember,
him.
it's almost a 10-year age gap.
Correct. You're getting old.
I had a lot of silvers on my chin.
Gets to him as he kicks. He kicks it on the full. Jets gets it, kicks it in board. One of his miraculous kicks that he always does. A bit of play in the middle, and then has a moment, like another moment he does, where he intercepts a ball, taps it, grabs it, spins it, bounces it, right foot banana, goal, to end the entire era of West Coast Eagles at Subiaco with a win and into finals. That was Lewis Jetta. Correct.
Yep.
That is one moment. Second moment, qualifying final, Collingwood. Scully watching from the stands because he doesn't get picked. Shock. Shock and awe. This moment comes in the game, and this is what I was talking about earlier with a connection to seeing the game unfold that some people don't have the ability to do. And this is when I speak about Jets in public and people say, who's the best player you ever play with? And I say Lewis Jetta because, yes, I play with Chris Judd. Yes, I play with Ben Cousins. Yes, I play with Matt Priddis. Yes, I play with Dan Cox.
What have they done?
Well, they've done plenty. But there's been plenty of ruckman. Coxie's probably the best to ever do it. There's been plenty of midfielders. Chris Judd, Matt Priddis, Ben Cousins, probably the best to ever do it. But in terms of people that I've played with and just things happen that no one else, I've never seen anyone else do, this man right here did. And this Collingwood game, qualifying final, we lose that game, we don't win the grand final. No doubt about it. So we're talking about things that happened in the game that let us win the grand final. Well, this is a moment that it was, which was ball coming out. Jets is hedging his bets between two players. And I hope you don't mind me telling this story because you probably have a good point of view on it, but I'll just tell it.
You tell it like Magic Johnson tells a story. A lead.
Every detail.
Yeah. There's two players apart. Jets has a choice between staying on his man. So at West Coast at that time, we were pressing in defence. We were to help each other out. He made the decision to press off his man. I think it was Crisp in front of you. I think that's the guy you cut off. You pressed 30 metres, got there with the long fingers that he has, had half his fingers, tapped it, kicked it, goaled it, game, Cristiano Ronaldo, you know the celebration. They're two games you've won by yourself, and not one person that I play with my career. Chris Judd's not making that press, I'll tell you that right now. Matty Priddis, Brownlow medalist, greatest guy, nicest guy of all time. He would still be trying to get to the bloke. That's how slow Matt Priddis is. He would not have been able to do that. Hey, Priddis don't argue, handball.
A sloth is probably faster than Prid.
But he cannot run. Lewis Jetta does that. So what I'm trying to say is you've had some big moments for West Coast.
Yep.
Is there any others that I've missed out that you stick in your mind that are favourites of yours?
Yes, there is one.
Okay.
There is one that stands out because it involves me and you.
Okay.
This one,
This is unprompted, Charlie.
this one was against Essendon at Optus. where we decided to do a bit of a spinneroonie, both of us, sidestepping. So from memory,
one person would remember this other than you and I.
no, because at the time it was me and Schofield, maybe versus 6 or 7 Essendon boys, and somehow Scuzzer does a spin, sidesteps, hand passes to me.
No look.
I do a spin, and then a hand pass, and we just looked at each other, and then we just like, how the hell did we get out of that situation?
We had so many good moments like that on the field where, like, Jets and I, although highly competitive, love the contest, we also had a bit of a sense of humour. Lewis Jetta was involved in the infamous Get 'em Boyish game at Peel Thunder.
Yep.
Were you not? So we had Dan Venables on the podcast who spoke about that game, other than the grand final, as his favourite game of football of all time.
It was the best because you can hear get 'em boys from the back pocket all the way to the field, cut over to the bench, up to the coach's box, down to the bench, back to the field, down to the forward pocket. And all you can hear is, get 'em boys, let's get 'em boys. And that's the whole game. We didn't say push, press, tackle. That was literally our words.
Nothing. Get 'em boyish. And this was bred out of people who didn't listen to the Daniel Venables podcast. We were all gamers at the time, too much. We played way too many games.
Too much Call of Duty.
Too much Call of Duty. But our little squadron, somehow every one of our squadron was playing in the waffle that week. And we beat Peel Thunder. We were the best in the league.
I'd love to hear what the other team... Who were you playing at the time?
Peel. We played against Peel.
Oh, you're playing against Peel?
And we were East Perth.
Yeah. At the time, it was...
Right.
Maybe the night before that, we had 18 players on Call of Duty Deathmatch. We're 2 teams, so we literally had no room for any outsiders in Call of Duty. And that just carried on onto the footy field.
It was one of the all-time. All right, so 2018, you win the flag. What's that experience like, having won one before? You're the only player in the 2018 grand final team that has won a premiership before.
Yep.
Talk me through perhaps your mindset coming into that. Like, what are you thinking for the week coming into that game?
Well, for the week, I was thinking, can these flights please not be as dear as fuck as last time? Because I reckon it cost me about 10 grand just to get my family over, flights, hotel. I'm like, please do not be this dear again. But lucky again, it was just my older brother, Graham, and his partner, Kelly, and mum and dad, and my ex-partner, Jess, and the kids. They came over.
You started out with a small list and then just kept growing.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just quietly and then build up into it. No, there was probably about 10, 11 people. But it was, I don't know. It's because I played in 2 before, 1 winning and 1. I just wanted to have that experience again. It felt so good the first time. It's like that song, I want to do it again. It was like the whole thing just... Because I remember the 12, I just wanted to bottle that feeling up, and lucky enough, it happened again in 18. And it felt like I just took that bottle off once the siren went. I'm like, there's that feeling. It's amazing.
I forgot to ask you, when you kick that goal to win the qualifying final, can you tell listeners and people who are watching what that feels like, to kick a goal to win a game in a circumstance like that?
Well,
cauldron.
Growing up, it's... Me and my 4 brothers, that's what we dreamed of. We played in the front yard. You know, Jetta takes a mark. Peter grabs it, kicks a winning goal. Lucky for Peter, he'd done it in a grand final and won the game. Graham got knocked out in a waffle grand final. Aaron won it last year with High Wycombe, kicked 4. But lucky for me, that qualifying one, it was one of those moments where it wasn't after the siren, but it was to put us in front. And that's one of the moments I dreamed of my whole life. And like to do that with a snap and bounce through, words can't describe it. It's like, it's almost up there with watching your baby being born for the first time.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a whole new emotion.
Is it slow or fast?
Slow.
Loud?
It was so slow. Grabbing the ball, everything just went quiet and slow motion. It's like there's a motorbike movie where he gets in the zone and just shuts everything out, and that's how it felt. It just went so quiet when I snapped it, and it felt like I had all the time in the world.
What was the decision-making process with the Ronaldo celebration? Is that something that you had in the bank just ready to go? Or?
Yeah, well, I did it probably 17 or 16 against Port Adelaide at Subiaco, and I remember getting a hand pass off maybe McGovern or Shui and just belting it about 60, 55 out. And I just did the little tiny ones and did it, and I kind of fucked that one up. So the next chance I do in a big game, I'll try to do it again.
Like, could you do it in like there's 50,000 or 60,000 people going, every single person in the stadium, you've won a game. Like, you actually couldn't have a more perfect celebration.
It was perfect timing for it.
Oh, man.
I knew straight away. As soon as it bounced in, I turned and ran. I'm like, this is the moment. This is the moment right here. Do it. Just don't roll your ankle when you land.
2018, we sat in the motorcade together. We're in the grand final parade together with the kids.
Yep.
What's that like second time round? Do you take more in, or are you trying to be more focused the second time round?
So that would have been your fourth parade.
Third. Yeah. So first one was junior. Slept the whole way. And then it was Daisy came along, and then it was junior as well. But they were sort of toddlers. They can stand on the back and just try not fall off, please. Yeah. And then, 18, they felt like they was teenagers just sitting there, just waving, holding on.
Daisy most of the time.
Yeah, they just felt old. And I was like, I was just worried about them and enjoying all this moment and just waving at people and having a good time.
What was the better post-win celebration, Sydney or West Coast?
Definitely West Coast, because the funny story was when... No, I don't know how we all listened to Masto leaving the club, 6 o'clock, let's go, boys. And we all left together. Now, normally, like, sometimes it doesn't happen. There's always a few boys that stays behind, hangs out and keeps drinking on to the sunrise. But this one time, we all left together. It was a weird... I don't know if maybe all our partners was calling us.
Was this to go see Timmy Trumpet?
No, this was in...
leaving Timmy Trumpet.
This was leaving Tramp.
Yeah, Timmy Trumpet was playing there. You don't even know.
I don't remember.
Timmy Trumpet.
What is Timmy Trumpet?
What is Timmy Trumpet? Charlie.
Timmy Trumpet. You would have heard the famous song.
It wasn't... I'm lying. It's not Timmy Trumpet. That was on a footy trip. I'm being confused. That was Sharon. It was Will Sparks. No, Will Sparks?
Yeah, I've heard of Will Sparks.
Will Sparks was playing at Tramp. Jesus, Dan, get out once in a while. So Will Sparks was playing. Will Sparks was playing an after party. But you've jumped ahead of the grand final here, mate. You've just jumped to celebration of the grand final. I haven't spoken about getting off the motorcade yet, mate. Have a bit of build about you.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Pre-GF.
We bounce around like a ball dribbling through the goals.
So motorcade done. Family away. You're a senior Indigenous player in that team. Willie Rioli, Liam Ryan. Do you speak to them during the week? I know you speak to them game day, but you speaking to them during the week. What are you telling them? You talking to them?
Yeah, most of the time we always just hanging out having coffee, and usually it's in the lobby. And sometimes we don't actually talk about footy. We just talk like we have a joke at people walking in funny kits and just have a giggle.
Or the biggest shit talkers at the club.
We are. Like I think. Through that whole week, we sat down playing cards, drinking coffee, and was watching people at the bar, just getting tipsy and just pulling the piss out of them and laughing. That's all I can remember, like our conversations. And when it came to game day, I just said treat it like a normal game. There's nothing more you need to change. You don't need to do anything different. You do that and we'll win. And that's basically all they did.
Do you remember mindfulness playing a big part in that year?
Yeah.
Martin Nikoski? I know you're a big proponent of it that season. Can you remember any bits about that, about staying present?
Because I remember talking to one of the coaches, I can't remember who, but they asked me about it, what we did in Sydney, and I said, we do meditation and yoga a lot over there. And I think after that conference, I think they try to bring it in. And once one got on board, because I was already on board, I did so much meditation. And once I found out this Muse and we can have a competition with it, so Muse is like a headband that senses all your negative sensors on your forehead and behind your ears.
It senses activity in your
brain. Yeah.
So you can measure how switched off you are.
Yeah, so it's like a measure of mindfulness.
This
is great.
Yeah, good, okay.
And I later found out that Phil Jackson did it with the Bulls and the Lakers, and now you think back how calm we was in 18, and you think back to those guys playing basketball in championships, how calm they are in big moments.
Tell people and watchers and listeners what Muse and the band, what you used to have to do and what.
So we used to. So for starters, you had to download the app, or actually go back to the pre-start. You had to have a good phone to download the app because I always lose my phone, or drop it. So I had to get it.
I've ever met in my life.
I got a pharmacy phone right now because I'm scared. I dropped it 4 times and it's still working. So good phone. Download the app, Muse app, and then you got to buy a headset, which costs about $250. But not in Australia. They got to send them over Europe somewhere. And once you get that, then you connect it all together, and then once you put the headband on, you then connect your phone to the headband, press play. Now, you got to wait 90 seconds or so they can both be in sync. And once that, then you just pretty much lay back and relax. But while you're doing that, you have these speakers in, and you can have like a rainforest theme, beach theme. So, for example, if you're laying back and you're real calm and you'll hear little birds chirping in your earphones, but if your mind is somewhere else and you're thinking too much and you're not relaxed, the waves start getting heavier, turning to a storm. Then it starts to make you shit. Like you literally shit yourself while you're there, and it's like, I'm scared.
You need to try and kill the noise with your mind. It's crazy. It's like it's mind control with a band on.
We have to get a couple of these sent over.
So Jets used to do this on the plane while we're landing. Like not that I'm not scared of flying. There's some guys at the club used to be quite frightened. Simon Tunbridge was one of those. Just out of relevancy.
2 seatbelts.
he was frightened, mate. Frightened.
So scared.
Anyway, Jets used to put these on while we were landing, and you could hear the birds out of the ear. He was so dead. He used to be able to kill his mind. And I've spoken about previously on this podcast and sports show that mindfulness played a really big part. Yeah. So we come into that game. They kick 5-0 in the first 20 minutes of the grand final. Yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, wow. This is ridiculous. But no, at the same time, I'm thinking we did so much preparation during the week, through the year. And like Scuzz said, our minds were so relaxed. We wasn't stressing. You know, like Tommy Cole drops a mark and Stevenson kicks a goal. Yeah. And no one's not screaming at him. Everyone's like, just get the next one. We'll just get the next one. And that's how it was throughout that whole little quarter.
What did you say? Do you remember what you saw?
Did you mention this to me?
To Cole, yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about it at one point. We just never did. Do you remember what you said to him? Because you in the footage you came straight up to him. I think you dacked him up or something, and then just.
I can't remember exactly what I would have said, but it was around that. It was like, I hope it would have been humour, because honestly, right. like not a real gag, like. Knock, knock. But just make him get out of your own head. You do something like that on the biggest stage, you're a young guy, you need to get out of your head and move on very quickly. Like, what can you actually do about it? It would have been something around that, but of course, you don't have microphones and a glass of whippersnapper whiskey in front of you to have a discussion about it. Yeah. It's got to happen in about 5 words.
That's where our meditation always brings us back to living in the moment. Yeah. Like, just be in the moment. Mistake happened, move on, get to the next moment.
Now, talking about moments, you tore both of your calves in that grand final, correct?
Yeah.
Or false?
Yep, correct. Yep. In the first quarter as well.
How's your calf going?
Don't worry about my calf. He tore both of his calves in the grand final, 2018 winning premiership.
Yeah, well, I did it from memory. That year I did 9 strains, missed 1 game. So,
but guys are just saying, please.
So prelim, I do them. But I don't know. They pulled up all good by the weekend. I said, if they see how they go, if they're pain-free by the weekend, I'm good to go. First quarter comes up, bang, pop them. I was like, damn it. So I do that one. Then the second quarter, I do my left one. I'm like, well, fuck. Just put some tape on it, Panadol.
You came off, right? And you told the coaches, said, I've done both my calves.
Yep. And then we was down on rotation. So I'm like, well, I can't go off and sit there and just be wasted. I might as well get back out there, put me forward or put me on the wing, but end up staying half back, playing on the quickest forwards, Varco.
What is it about Indigenous guys and tearing muscles? And David Wirapunda, like no one else, used to do, and it's not I tore my calf, but they scan it and there's no calf tear. Like, if he had his calves scanned at the end of the week, he would have torn in half calves. But you can still play. Like I tore my calf walking up the stairs. I couldn't walk home. You're playing the grand final with 2 torn calves.
It's because these muscles, like the calf muscles, so weird. I think it's like 3 or 4, and the one that I kept tearing was the one that I need to walk, but I could jog and sprint, which was so frustrating. So because I can't play a game for 2 hours of sprinting and jogging. It's like that's impossible, especially for me. But I don't know. I just felt like I just couldn't stop jogging and just jogged, limped around here, stopped, jogged, and that's all I could have done.
I remember Jetta saying to me, like, maybe in the second quarter, like, hey, bros, I've done both my calves. And I reckon I remember just looking at him, being like, all right, no worries. And just literally, like, you're there. It's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like,
Massage?
I knew he was good. Yeah, massage. So, moving into the game a little bit more, Liam Ryan, probably with not long to go in the third quarter, goes back with the flight, tries to mark a ball, has a look. I do that all the time. I'm a frightened human being when I'm going back with the flight like that. So
It's the scariest thing ever.
Oh, don't put yourself in that position.
No, it's not courageous.
No. But anyway, he goes back with the
dumbass.
flight. He drops the ball with no pressure, seemingly no pressure, but could understand when you're coming back with a flight like that, you don't know what's coming. Anyway, drops it. Collingwood take it, go down the other end, kick a goal.
Yep.
It was a big moment in the game. It was just before three-quarter time. So at three-quarter time, I've seen the footage. I didn't see it on game day. You've got Liam Ryan with your arm around him.
It's probably one of the most like recognisable things in my brain from that game is that you walking off the field with him.
Yeah.
What are you saying to him at three-quarter time in the grand final, a tied grand final?
All I said was 3 quarters are done. We just got half an hour. Bring your magic, and we'll win the game. And that's literally all I said. It looked like I was giving him a big speech, but I kept it so simple. And he was like, yeah, bros, I got you. And as we all know, that last quarter, he played amazing last quarter.
So what Liam Ryan did in that last quarter, he hit the post twice. You
Yeah.
know that? He
Yeah.
had 2 posts.
It's
in
like,
about
fuck.
But he had a moment exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like genuinely identical. And I put it down to you. And look, you can downplay it as much as you like, but having someone in his corner and saying it's okay, like don't worry about that. That's what Lewis Jetta was about, which is another reason why I say he's the best of all time to ever have done it, because he made Liam Ryan do what he did in that lost quarter, which was the 2 behinds, 2 posters, but he took that mark in the moment.
Yeah.
He took that. He took a screamer with one
Ridiculous.
a ridiculous like sideways screamer with a minute and a half to go in the grand final.
And that one in the 50 where he's running full tear, and there's a pack there, and he just literally eyes on the ball and just marks it. Yeah. And there's guys coming left, right, and centre, and he just marked it on his chest.
Siren goes. Game 1. What's the feeling? Better than kicking the goal against Collingwood?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And the reason I dropped to the ground because my calves was killing me. I put my hands up and cried for, yes, that looks good. But really my legs were just absolutely cooked. I was in so much pain, my calves. And then once I dropped down, I was just like looking for the boys. I'm like, fuck, I can't believe it. Did it again. Fucking ridiculous. A little boy from Bunbury.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Best photo I've got is of you and me hugging after that game.
Yep.
Another one. It's very good. Got a little chills here, Dan.
Yeah, good.
Is that all under control, mate?
Shit.
So we win that, right? And all right. So you were best on in the immediate post-match aftermath. I was worst on. I thought it was a good thing to really take it in. I was the dead last going around the oval. I was, taking my time, speaking to everybody. I reckon I sculled about 3 beers out of people's plastic cups. But I wasn't with the boys. I wasn't. I don't have any photos of me holding the cup in the crowd. Tommy Barrass is standing out. Like, none of that. I was 100 metres behind everyone. Lewis Jetta, you were wearing sunglasses.
Yep.
And you had your 2 children out there. I don't know where they came. You had both Daisy and Junior with you. You had sunglasses on. You may as well have had a cigar.
Even had when you sit down at a chair, the grand final chairs, it's like the stadium, you have paddings. Even walking around with one of those. Yeah, that's one of those things. Had one of those, a scarf. I'm like, what? Fuck, I'm going to need a little bag to put all this shit in.
Like a show bag.
The secrets of show business here. Dan's just revealed his cushion he sits on here at BackChat.
Just give me a little boost.
Yeah.
So you've got a pair of sunnies. Now, I put out on social media, hey, Jets is coming into the show. We had one person say that hey, I want my sunnies back. I went through the footage and I was like, what are you even talking about? I went through and looked and you're wearing sunglasses for almost every photo out on the ground immediately after the game. Where did you get the sunnies? Well, where are they now?
In all of a crowd, when we was doing a lap, I think it might have been not the city end, the other end. Was going through there. Remember having the Gatorade towel, doing the Vince Carter, like, it's over to our Snapchat girl, Kate. And then I just noticed my brother out of all the crowd. I don't know what it was, but it's like one of those moments where everything just slows down and you lock eyes. Like, oh, shit. My brother's right there standing. So I run up. He's like, I got glasses for you. I was like, yes. So I just chucked them straight on. And that was it. So my older brother, Graham, had them.
So they're Graham's?
Yeah, I believe those Graham's. Yeah.
Someone suggested on Instagram, social media, that they were their child sunnies, but that ain't true.
These are no child size sunnies that wouldn't fit that head.
Where are they?
Oh, they're in my pocket.
No.
Yeah. I still believe it to this day. I still wear them like normal sunnies. So
You've actually got them.
there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't kids' sunnies.
Oh,
No, so
my.
you
Hang
imagine-
on, Dan. These are... Charlie, are you fact-checking this? Are these the sunnies? These
Bring
are
up
the
the photo real quick.
All right, get a photo up because...
Oh, it's on it's on the Instagram.
I mean, it's on our Instagram, Charlie, if you followed that. Maybe you don't even follow that. You don't even join the...
Because I was wearing them at home, and my brother Graham said, "You still got the sunnies?"
That's them, eh?
Certainly looks like them. Yeah. It is them.
How have you... You have the sunnies.
Still got them.
You can wear them for the rest of this interview. Thanks, Jet.
Yeah, that's legit.
That's actually them.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Black into the like little gold rim.
Can you see me more? Oh, it actually is. Jet, you're a crazy man. How have you hung on to those?
Well, I had them in
That is amazing.
I had them in the garage with some other old clothes, and then I just lost sunnies. So I just decided to put these on and go to work and to the beaches and stuff. And then Graham asks my older brother, he's like, "Do you still have those sunnies from the game?" I said, "Yeah, I got them in the car." So he just taken them and flogged them for a year. And then I was like, all right, going over to his place, I'm going to steal them back.
There's something I've just remembered. And I just quickly checked it on my phone. Don't know. We sort of talked about the Cristiano Ronaldo game 2018, but you walking across the bridge to get to that game.
Yeah.
What happened there? Do you remember this?
What?
So if you didn't listen to like the...
Still got the sunnies.
I know we're sort of backtracking a bit, but I just remembered. I was like,
Yeah,
what
no.
happens?
So the interview with Peter Bill after the game, he asked, "Were you late?" I said, "Yeah, I was late."
You
He's
were
like,
late to the qualifying final.
"Yeah."
You were too.
Because-
first emergency.
And
I
everyone
remember this.
everyone was looking for me, but I was playing COD at home. I was playing COD and I literally forgot about the time, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I got the finals on." So we jump in the car, me, Jess and the kids,
Oh, my God.
and I'm like, "Oh no, traffic, fuck." So we're on the bridge and
What
we're parked.
bridge?
So the one to get over to Swan
Yeah.
and Optus on your right. So I said, "Fuck it, I'll just jump off there, walk underneath and walk in with the crowd." And just chuck my hoodie on, and some little kid knows, "Hey mate, how you doing?" Going to the game. So we walk in and the security guard stops and I'm like, "Yeah, I actually got to play. Here's my ID. I meant to be here about half an hour ago."
Yeah, you were late.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
you would have got a call saying, "Mate, do you have your shoes with you?"
I've never heard this story.
If
You're playing COD, you motherfucker.
in the interview after the game, I said, "Yeah, my family was taking too long to get dressed." Really, I was playing COD. As we all know, that last game, the last kill, you need that last kill. It's too intense. It takes too much time to get there.
Without that last kill, you don't actually get to make the physical kill.
Yeah.
Collingwood in the game.
True. I needed that last kill to kill them.
All right, a couple of all rounders just to finish off this. Then we get the social media. I was going to apologise for this being long, but I've enjoyed every second of it.
No.
So no apology.
I've got
there.
nothing else to do than
correct.
work tomorrow.
No, I wasn't
but
apologising to you at all. That's great. I love it.
I apologise to no fucking person.
Really recently, just gone. There's been a specific incident with Liam Ryan and his kids and trolls and racism, but That's one. I want your glasses off now. I
know.
It's not a serious. I can't look at him.
It's like, yep.
Yep, motherfucker.
Yeah. So that's one incident, but it's not the first, and unfortunately, it probably won't be the last. So I wanted to ask you about your experience personally with trolls.
Yep.
And racism, not just on social media, but racism. I know it's a
everywhere.
Big topic.
Yeah. No, well, for Liam, it's been happening since, I reckon since he was a kid, to be honest. And now that it's even sadder that his kids are involved, because kids are innocent, whether they're black, white, no matter what colour they are, kids are always innocent. And for them to cop it as well is fucking ridiculous. Some people out there I don't know what they on earth to do. It's like, it's crazy. But myself growing up, I copped it all the time. It's as simple as, going into IGA, security guard follows you each aisle. It's as simple as that, to being called names from walking home from school and some guy calls you a black cunt. And it's like, looking around, he's talking to us. Oh, fuck, well, we can't do nothing. We're guys in the cars and we're just school kids. And all we can do is tell our parents and they just, they can't really do anything because we don't know the person. So, and back then we didn't have phones. We didn't have cameras. We had the old school cameras, but we didn't carry those around. We just worried about getting home and all that type of stuff. But racism's always been around. And sad to say, it's never going to leave because it's not just in Australia, it's all over the world, racism. Do
you have an opinion on why? Are people bad people? Is it ignorance? Is it
what is
it?
I always believe that it's the way you're raised. Because when you're born, you don't see racism. It's how you've been raised and the environment. And because when you're a kid, all you think about is happy. And if you see so many pictures on YouTube or Facebook, you see little black and white kids playing together no matter what. And they don't see anything except just enjoying each other's company. So I always put it down to the environment they're being raised and who's raising them. Because you can raise kids to be people to be genuine, humble, caring, loving people, but there's some bad people out there that's just horrible people.
This is a big question, but how do you improve it? How do you improve people's behaviour, attitude, whatever you want to call it?
Well, it's a hard one because everyone's different and everyone has a right to live their own life. So all you can do is, like we say, sound like a broken record, educate, but at some point, how far is educate going to go? Because sometimes people need to take a stand and, people have, but it's still not enough. People are still doing it. And it just comes down to that, 1% of dickheads out there that just doesn't get it, or they just get the thrill of putting down people and bringing negative into other people's lives.
And also, I guess the responsibility and the onus shouldn't be on you to help other people.
Yeah.
I mean, you be yourself and be an upstanding person, and that should help enough. But at the end of the day, people have to look at themselves and change their own behaviour, and it's not up to you to change them.
Yeah.
What do you look at for like your friends that aren't Indigenous? Say me or any of the other guys that you're good mates with. Like, how do we best support you when we see this sort of stuff? Like,
you can always
I always sort of like look. I'm like, it makes me fucking sick when I see it. But then I'm like, I want to kill that. I want to fucking kill that guy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what to do.
You can just pull them up and just literally do your grumpy voice, bring out grumpy scuzz. And sometimes it's just a tone of voice. If you're non-Indigenous and you pull someone up with a tone of voice, that automatically makes them think straight away. Or they can just, don't get it and just be a dickhead about it.
It's interesting. Have you caught much social media wise? I mean, we've seen it's just absolutely rampant at the moment. You see it every other week. A club having to stand up and say, "Oh, we don't condone it." Like, no shit. Like, people are just.
How many statements are clubs making, man?
Have you copped that online?
Not social media, because
that's good.
I reckon I had Bebo. That was before MySpace, so I had that first, and then I had Facebook in Sydney, and I shut that down for a good reason. And I didn't get back onto social media Because I don't have Insta or Twitter. I just have Facebook purely just to catch up to old cousins. And well, that's a good one where, you know, you can only just talk to your cousins on there and they can comment on yours, and there's no one else unless you add them as a friend. But I only just got onto Facebook probably 3 or 4 years ago. But before that, I was off social media. I literally wondered why people go to cafes and sit there and scroll, and then you just see me in the corner reading the newspaper or colouring in with the kids on the text,
or
holding
talking, maybe talking to somebody.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Like, no, it's in like
a normal conversation or like that. But I wasn't big on social media, and I think that's kind of saved me in a little bit, in a way.
Plus, it sounds like you always had a broken phone or something. It probably didn't have.
Yeah, that's true. I always had the phone that bounces up like a bouncy ball and still works.
All right. You got anything else to suggest before we get into this big segment? Social media. Now, I know that you've done this before, and it's probably why you're here, to be honest. Social media, correct?
Yes. Always.
I force people to say that. Social media, big part of this podcast for a long time. Sports show. I don't know why I can't stop saying podcast.
It's okay. Doesn't matter.
Say it back to front, the letters. Cod past.
So, Tommy Barrass had a pretty good reaction on social for social media. Lewis Jetta's had the best yet.
Huge.
The questions were great. I know we've done a bit of a longer interview, but social media is big too, and I loved it. So, we can get straight into it, all right?
Yep.
Daniel?
All right.
If you
know
may.
what? I'm going to do it off my phone. I know there's a screen there, but I'm going to do it off my phone because it will just be helpful.
This is from Keely.
Yeah, actually, for this one, I can read it from here. Okay. Hey, guys. I've heard some of the West Coast boys talk about how much influence Jetta had around the club, particularly the role he played in leading the way off the field with some of the up-and-coming players in terms of being a mentor and support system. I work in mental health, and Scully, I've loved listening to the brief insights you've given when speaking about mental health and awareness that you bring to that with some of the key notes you do and stories you tell. There you go.
Thank you, Keely.
My question for the both of you is how much work is put into mental health and mental wellness within a football club, both as a whole group and then with maybe individual players who need it more than others along the way? Should we start with that for now?
Yeah. How much
There's a lot
time's
there.
put in at the club to mental health and well-being? Be honest. Whatever you think.
Well, yeah, it's probably a big part of it because I can speak from experience, and I'm happy to speak about it because it's easy for me now. Probably from 2014 to probably 2 years ago, I suffered with suicide depression. And for me, it's easy to speak about now, but back then, at the club, it would be just a smile and, you know, put others before myself. And that's how I dealt with it. But as soon as I got home, straight into my shell. You know, I literally, I don't know how to put it, but there was a moment at home that woke me up where, you know, I walked into the garage, grabbed a extension cord and went to go across the road to the tree next to the river. And I literally got to the tree, and then I just turned around and just like snapped out of it. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm leaving my little kids at home. My babies are at home and they're going to wake up with no daddy. So that for me, that just straight away I woke up. And now that I can like speak about it easily, it's for others, it's very hard to talk about. And especially for guys, it's because guys are so strong and don't want to talk about anything, hold their feelings in. And I did that for so long. Once I started, I wanted to help out others, whoever was struggling.
You spoke about it at the club as like a fire. Remember you getting up in front of the boys and speaking about
Yeah.
it was like a internal fire that would ignite, and not a good one, not one that would propel you to greatness. It was like a internal burning that would burn yourself down.
Yeah.
It was like felt like you just.
It was like fire in a shell. Like the shell on the outside was just a smile, happy, Jet Boy being Jet Boy, laughing, pranking. But that fire was just burning huge inside. And some days I couldn't wait, because footy used to be my escape in these moments. But it got to a point where I was on the footy field. I could not give two fucks about football. And I absolutely hated it. And I only did it, like kept going there because of my babies, like how much they enjoyed it and put food on the table for them. And that's literally all I did it for at that point of stage in my life. But once I got through that little hard patch, I don't know what it was, but it just opened my eyes up, and I just saw everything clear as day. And now, I can safely say I squashed that. That's 2 years now, gone in the past. Now I can help out others and speak about it easily in front of them. And if that's somehow my story helps some guy or lady, or even kids now that's going through it, so be it.
So what's the advice? Try and talk about it.
Try to talk about it. Do not hold on to it, no matter how small it is, because once it starts small, it starts to build. Before you know it, you're literally a zombie walking around, and you don't even realise you are a zombie.
Do you reckon that affected your footy at any stage?
No, because footy was my get out. No matter if I cross that white line, siren goes. It affected me at training, but not when I was playing footy, because I can escape it and just clear my mind. And that's when I hit the meditation really hard, because that helped out a lot as well.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Footy was your happy place.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We need to play some footy together, I think.
We do.
Sevens?
Give me, yeah,
Should we start a
correct.
sevens team?
Yeah, correct. Now we're going to go Super Tramp, Bryce here.
So admittedly, this is a shit question.
Yeah, probably a shit question off the back of that. Well, but this is Super Tramp Bryce. So Bryce was caravanning around the country, met up with him over the grand final period. Big fan of BackChat, big mental health advocate. And you know what? We actually should mention Lifeline.
WA.
131114. If that's still their number, it's actually probably worth mentioning.
For sure.
And if anything Jess has just spoken about.
It's like a perfect shirt for the situation right
Yes,
now.
it's good.
Beyond blue
So
as well.
Supertramp Bryce though is he's a big advocate for mental health and talking about your feelings. So I think this is a perfect little segue.
Jets, do you remember our 10 out of 10 awkward attempt handshake turned weird laugh smile during the halftime of last year's grand final at the Camfield? We both had just taken a leak and had the realization at the same time that it's just super weird to say g'day to someone in a pub bathroom.
You were at the Camfield, I remember that.
I reckon I recall that. Yeah, underneath the bar that's up top. Used to go under them toilets there. Because no one was in there. Inside the line was longer than the women's. It's like, what's going on here? This is opposite day. So I remember just going out there and, yeah, it was a weird one. Because I said, let's just wait till we wash our hands first. And then it's like, what do we do?
wasn't midstream or anything like the urinal? It was...
No, it was just like a weird situation. Okay. We both knew what we wanted to do, but it came out so wrong.
Come on, Bryce. He's a good man, though. So very good.
I remember just laughing about it and just walking out.
All good sometimes.
Adam Goods has turned his back on football despite all his achievements. Have you spoken to him about his troubles or tried to convince him to return to football in some way?
No, I will not try to, purely because he's happy being a father. And seeing him with my kids when I lived in Sydney, he was literally like he wanted to be a father so badly. Now that he has his own, I think he couldn't care less except, spend time with his baby. And that's probably the best part about it. It'd be good to see him back, but what he went through, I don't think he will come back. And, I hope he just relaxes, puts his feet up, because he's done so much for the game and the community as well. But now he's a father, he can actually enjoy life and be free.
Now,
some AFL team will, if his kids get into footy, will draft them very high, I'm sure.
There's going to be some good kids rolling around at some stage.
It's going to be ridiculous.
Now, this man, I believe... I just want him to get his question out there because I want you to read the back part of this. This is from Rob Dinsdale. Okay. Now, his username is now Rob_Dinsdale_. Can you read the PS at the back end of this?
PS. Sorry for the no underscores, Scoey. We'll try better in the fantasy name.
So I believe after Rob has put this through, he's changed his name before I've said anything and put underscores into it. You've got to respect it.
Yeah, respect for it.
All right, here we go, Rob. Here's your question.
Love to hear Jet's thoughts on returning to the club as a mentor for the younger Indigenous boys. Such an underrated player on and off the field for them, boys and himself. Would love to see him back at the club. Would that be a role that you would...
Well, I was actually thinking about it this year, to be honest, seeing what's to go. But at the moment, I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm in the gas industry. I threw myself in the gas industry. I had no idea about it. After footy finished, I went, well, I might as well just jump in the workforce. So I jumped in with my younger brother, was in the Valmac Water Corp at the moment. And I was like, all right, sweet, easy job, he can teach me. And it was actually good fun because the boss would treat us good because I just came off from playing West Coast and would finish early all the time and long lunch breaks. The only bad thing is my brother always loved getting takeaway, so it was almost KFC for lunch every day. But once my brother left to go for the mines, I figured, well, I will just chuck myself in the gas and see how we go. And absolutely love it. It's dangerous, it's interesting, but enjoyable. We've got to have a good bunch of guys around, and I always try to tell people, if you have a good crew, it works so much easier and so much fun. We literally laughed the whole day pretty much. So
you'd be open to heading back to the footy club and helping out there if that was a possibility?
Yeah, I was thinking about it actually 2 weeks ago and last week. You know, whether it's teaching them how to kick or...
Maybe we just go run a Jet Boy Scully clinic down there about how to enjoy yourself. And
everyone's welcome except all the staff, fans, just the players.
And no midfielders, no forward line.
Just the back line players only. TB and Gov, you guys are good. Bung, yep, you're still elite. Just
oh boy.
Looking fit, by the way.
Bunger.
Yeah, bloody Benjamin Button.
What's happened there? Like, why? How?
I don't know. Has he got a date?
Maybe that's what we need to do in here. Get Bunger a date.
Yeah.
BackChat does Bunger a date. Charlie and
date
Bunger
site.
get a date. A.G. Becker.
Okay, no question, just a statement. Sorry, no question, underscore, just a statement, underscore. I'm not going to do this whole time. My son is named Lewis after you.
Yep.
There you go. He's being raised in Sweden, so will hopefully be as good a hockey player as you were a footy player.
A son named after you. You got to take that one.
In Sweden. It kind of makes you think. It's like, what did I do? No, I'm just joking.
Taz, _Kai.
I feel like everyone gets asked this, but if you could change one thing in your career, what would it be and why? And does pineapple belong on pizza?
Oh, 100%. If you don't like pineapple on pizza,
yeah,
just leave Australia. Just go.
Keen.
Yep. See you, mate. See you, mate.
I'm keen.
See you, mate.
I love
You
it.
can't be having pineapple on pizza, mate. What's wrong with you?
That's good.
Number one, it helps out with the cheese because cheese is
heavy.
It's too raw unless it's melted and then it's cooked.
I cannot believe this.
And then pineapple just feels so fresh, and plus it's healthy for body parts.
Yeah.
So,
I've always said that.
Pizza. Good God.
and the one thing I'll change is probably my height. Because I could have played NBA, but I was too short.
I was
center.
the same. Yeah.
I was like 4 foot center. So that's why I chose footy.
Imagine Jetta and Const, point guard and centre.
Rolling some pick and rolls. Let's go.
Oh, wow.
A bit like Spud Webb and Muggsy Bugs in the same team.
Robbie B. Show.
One for Will. Not sure if this is the right place to put this, but I believe yourself and Daniel Kerr had immaculate chemistry on air. Would you ever get Daniel back on, even from back for a chat?
No, read it.
Back from prison for a chat.
Yeah, why didn't you want to read that?
Well,
Kerry's in prison.
Yeah,
That's a fact. It's okay.
Yeah, but
That's what's happening.
yeah,
It's just, what's the issue here?
there's no issue.
You didn't read it.
He's going a bit red, isn't he?
We are spreading the joy. That's what's happening with Kerry's life at the moment. I would certainly have Kerry on here. I did raise with Robbie. I did reply to this comment that perhaps it might be a short episode, given one call a day type setup from prison.
You hear the brrr, brrr, this call is coming from.
Get off the phone, mate. David Gornall.
How much do you like the sport of indoor beach volleyball?
Absolutely love it. We play. Last year I was playing Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday's out of our elite. Play one team 3 times. And Thursday you play 8 different teams in one night.
Love that. Stefan _1039.
I would love to get your thoughts on spearmint milk. I live on the East Coast, but have spent my fair share of time in the West. When I attempt to explain how good the sweet, sweet nectar of a master's spearmint milk is, I'm often greeted with disgust. Would love to hear your thoughts, particularly Scully, who moved west later in life.
I've got no thoughts. I know that Jets will have some thoughts.
It's like you might as well just go vomit in a cup and drink that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not a fan of the spearmint?
Not a fan of it.
Just brush your teeth and swallow.
What about you?
Yeah.
Spearmint?
It's disgusting.
Really?
I would drink it. I would
like
hold
to
my
chew on a
breath.
mint or have a piece of gum, but I'm not going to drink
like
milk.
Stefan's a big fan, Charlie.
Also lactose intolerant.
I don't like mint at all. Like, no mint.
What do you brush your teeth with?
I'd use toothpaste, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I'm with Charlie. What do you mean?
He likes. He might just like the bar mint.
Tooth?
I'm not
No,
having
he's,
it for
he's
the
like,
taste.
I don't like mint. So
Like, I mean, toothpaste isn't like mint, is it?
Minty
What?
fresh, yeah.
Well, like
course it's
some can
mint.
be. It's like chemical. It's just
yeah, I
like.
bet you have your charcoal toothpaste. So
I actually think I might.
yeah,
Don't tell me you're out of charcoal toothpaste.
What are you brushing your teeth with?
Just normal.
Colgate.
Colgate.
So am I, but like, isn't there
but
like
I get-
mixed flavour and then there's like, I don't know.
I like using the kids one because it's always like a strawberry one, strawberry flavour.
I'm our Jets.
Doesn't do nothing. It's just like having some lollies in it.
Who are we going to? We're going to go with Jack Dewsbury. Okay, Jack. It's a bit cheeky, this one, but you've made it.
Who's the best player you've ever played with, and why is it not Scoey?
Why is it not Sco? Well, first of all, I have never said the best player I played with yet.
Yeah.
Who is
So
that?
that's to be cool. Well, it's definitely going to be Schofield. Nah, I
What
like
do you got? Come on, it's not Scully.
probably the best. It would, to be honest, it would have to be my older brother. If you guys thought I can kick a footy, my older brother's 5 times better than me, and his vision and skills was ridiculous. But knee problems stopped him. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay, this is a good question then. JHR_87.
How did Jets become one of the best kicks in the league? Pure talent or something in his training regimen?
a lot of it was to do with my older brother. Again, he taught me 1-on-1. But a lot of the time when players would go home, like you'd see me after training just kicking around, mucking around, but really I'd be there for another hour or two kicking the footy at targets. And, you know, I'd get home at 7 sometimes, but I'd do that every day. And I started doing that at the SCG, and all you can hear is doof, hitting the wooden targets, doof. And I'd do that for 2 hours straight. And
Yeah.
He, when I read that question on social media, I sort of thought about that as well, because that's a big reason why I say he's the best kick I've ever played with. He used to hit targets that weren't there, you'd never see. We used to have, especially late in our career, we had the big hanger. Either everyone would be gone or having lunch or where's Jets? He'd be kicking footies. And I don't reckon you ever used to, well, you might correct me. I don't reckon you used to go in there and be like, I'm going to improve my kick. You used to enjoy doing it. You
yeah, I used to love it. I used to love it. SCG, the SCG,
You just be gone. Jets
Yeah.
be by himself, just kicking footy to the wall, like hitting a brick in the wall. Like just
at
drilling.
Subi, that's where I was really focusing. But once we got to Optus, it was just became enjoyable, and I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
It was like an addiction, which wasn't a bad thing.
You would kick hundreds and hundreds of balls a day. No,
Yeah.
no one else was doing that. But you weren't doing it because you're like, I'm gonna be the
Nah.
best kick in the league.
No, it was just I purely enjoyed it, and it showed against the Geelong game. I can't remember what year it was, but it might have been 17, 16. It was ridiculous. Pulled out some kicks out of my ass. That one.
Last one. T_Dizzy _. Yeah, we love that. Absolutely love every bit about it.
Were you ever timed at 100-meter sprint? If so, what was your time?
Yes, I can say Swan Districts, Talon Ames, the big Talon Ames, big guy, blondie, looks like a Russian. Not, it's too skinny to be. We did like a 100-meter sprint, and I did it barefoot, and he timed it on his watch and said 10 seconds. So I'm not too sure if Talon Ames was talking shit or he was serious.
10. I'd say 10 high. Like in his prime. We're talking 21.
Prime, yeah. So this was a
62 kilo Lewis Jetta.
This was a 19-year-old.
Like a pogo stick.
Yeah, feel like a light stand.
That's it. Scotia Media done and dusted. Very good. Yet again, you send it.
We answer it.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Dan, you're done for the co-hosting duties today. You send it, we read it. What I was looking for, mate.
I know, but I'm
So,
scared.
Pete-
I'm scared about this.
You send it, we read it. Why?
It's just a lot to get through.
We're gonna hold off on the last one again. And I'm gonna put a public apology through to that person right now. But we'll go through the first one.
Okay.
Aidan O'Neill. Hey, Aidan.
Lads, just give me some airtime here because what I'm about to say may blow some minds.
Do you need me to read this, or you right? You get your big boy
I've
pants
just
on?
absolutely jailed that. So
I know you
far.
have, but I'm just like, it's a
Okay.
big paragraph in front of you. We okay?
Yep. Here at Big Fan Apparel, find us on Instagram, we think that the competition is ready for a non-midfielder to finally win a Brownlow this coming season. Here's why. The new holding the ball rule change that some may or may not agree with will generate more goal-scoring opportunities. Therefore, we think a big forward may have a much bigger chance of kicking a lot more goals and taking home Charlie. Not you, Charlie. Let us know what your thoughts
Not
are.
the other Charlie.
Farmer wants a wife with Charlie. Let us know what your thoughts are. We really want to know Charlie's thoughts as the Brownlow is named after him. Okay. Thanks,
from me.
Big Fan Apparel. And I'll say that again. It's from Big Fan Apparel.
Very good. Big Fan Apparel. You can find them on Instagram. Charlie, you can go first on this one. Big Charlie Brownlow. Chaz.
Well, I think I got to disagree a bit.
Oh.
Well, because,
Careful.
the Brownlow
Interesting.
isn't decided by, how many goals you kick. It's not decided by stats. It's decided by the umpires.
Yeah.
Right? So that might come into some of their decision making, but it's not going to be a final thing. I
So
think.
you've completely put this in the bin, have you?
No, I think it's a good
And that's
point.
in the back chat, right? There.
I agree, but only thing
With
is,
Charlie or with Big Fan Apparel?
no, on the umpire part, maybe the umpires need to actually open their eyes and see the whole game instead of seeing possession count or one good play and actually just look at defenders the whole time.
Charlie, while we're on this, how many votes, look it up, did Buddy get when he kicked 100?
Okay.
That's-
yeah, and like something around key forwards, like high scoring Brownlow. We need to swamp thing here, really. But if we're going to go down this path, I don't hate it.
Does it have to be midfield or forward? Can a backman ever win a Brownlow?
I don't see a way that can happen.
No.
Not really. Not
Is
the
there
way-
even an award for a backliner?
No.
No, you got
Which
the
there
leading
should be.
goal kicking,
Golden
but
Fist has been named, but I mean, it's not Coleman medal status. It should be.
nah.
So 2008, when Buddy kicked 100 goals, he was third with 20 votes.
Okay.
How do you feel about that now, Dan? How do you feel about that now, Charlie? Oh, yeah.
But that's what I'm
He still
saying.
didn't
That's
win.
probably the closest thing we're going to get.
Right, so
Yeah.
Big Fan Apparel is onto something big time. You know who I'm going to suggest?
What, as a Brownlow dark horse?
Yeah. You're going to hear it here first, too.
All right, go on.
It's your boys.
Oh.
Carlton.
Oh.
Who's your boys?
I thought for a second you said your
Ben
boy,
Brown.
Ben Brown. Don't. Ben Brown's my guy.
Ben Brown's my bunny. Now, and you know that. Now, Harry Mackay, Carlton.
Yes.
Your boys.
Yeah.
He's a proper player. Like I said, the way that they're winning, when they win the grand final, Charlie Kerno. Oh my God, it's amazing. Charlie Kerno comes back.
Yep. Charlie
and
comes to
Harry
town.
wins the Charlie. Harry Mackay will kick. He did he win the Coleman last year, Charlie? Please
Yeah.
check. He
Yeah,
did. He did, didn't he? He wins the Coleman again this year. Kicks more goals. Wins the Brownlow medal. Imagine if we play this back in 6 months' time.
All you do is just say, I told you so, fuckers.
Very good.
That's it.
Now, I want to read the start of this, and then we're gonna put this out to social, whether or not you would like me and Dan and anyone else to go through this, because this was sent a little while ago now, and we send it. Sorry, you send it. We read it.
Yeah. Is the
That's
rule.
what it means. We've never not read it.
Unless they tell us not to.
Yeah, which has happened a couple of times. We haven't read this one because there's been an extreme level of effort and analysis that's gone into it.
We don't want to half bake it.
No, and I also don't want to give. Yeah, I don't want to give this 30 minutes to on top of what we've done already. So I'd like to somehow potentially do it as a standalone. I'll read the first part, right? And I want people, Charlie, you need to remind me on our little spreadsheet over here that we're going to do this week. This is from Ben Eddy. I think it's Ben. I'm going to be really annoyed if it's not Ben. Be Eddie. I think it's Ben?
Could be Brett.
Okay. Hey guys, long time fan of the show. Have been enjoying some annual leave and had time to rewatch the antics of Will Schofield in the 2018 Grand Final. it brought me just as much joy to watch the bangs and crashes of the game as it did in 2018. Also, low-key cannot wait for Willie Rioli to make his comeback. Jets, I know you'll see that. Yeah. But keeping an eye on Will watching this time around was my top priority. Here's how I saw the game from the point of view that Will Schofield was robbed of the Norm Smith and that Jordan De Goey is his true bunny. Right? And then how many points are there? There is 23 well-worded impacts on the game that I had, either behind the scenes. Ben's broken that down. It is Ben. Cheers, Ben. So there's 23 points, and the rest is history. P.S. Still waiting for beers with BackChat. That'll be on March 1st, Tuesday.
What if we could get you and Jordan going through this?
I would love to do
Just have that one where you sprinted down the guts and left Guff with the go.
The game winner.
It happened.
It happened.
Bloody happened. Jet says it happened. Look, there's 23 points there of my grand final. We've been bouncing around whether to do it. I don't particularly want to make it the me show. That's how I feel about it.
That's weird.
I mean, here it is.
Why don't you see if you can go through the points and see if you can find every player. Try contact every player.
Just have the whole Collingwood thing up on like a
Jets,
Teams.
what are you doing for the next 3 months?
Absolutely nothing.
You're hired.
Monday nights, nothing.
Charlie, is that the end of You Seen It, We Read It?
Yes, it is.
Jets, that brings us to the end of this podcast, my friend. How have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely loved it. Need to be back.
I would like you back. If you would like to be involved in this regularly, I know the watchers and listeners of this show will have you back.
Yeah,
Would you like to be back?
100%.
I'll have you
Get me
back.
on board.
Jet Boy's actually given us a little bit of the serious Jets, which I was actually hoping for because we had some
it's very
serious
good.
questions.
Yeah.
But
I thought I'd swing both ways.
If we, I've seen that too. Now, if we bring the jovial Jets back next time, I do believe that this podcast could be injected with some humour.
Still very good.
It's been fun.
Yep.
You know where to find us on social media, or would you like to be reminded?
Just, flick me in.
BackChat,
Write it on a pen and paper and
BackChat,
mail it.
BackChat __ If you want to get in contact with Jets, he'll probably be on a new mobile number by tomorrow. You can email us hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. You can be on a website, backchatpodcast.com.au. Reddit, that going okay still?
Yeah, bloody loving it.
Sign up to YouTube, become a patron. I can't do it. Become a patron on Patreon.
Yep.
Support the podcast. We love you. Thanks to Whippersnapper. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Kat. Almost your bedtime. Bye-bye.
Laters.